I gladly welcome all the participants to be a great part of this webinar. Welcome, dear participants. You are heartily invited to this webinar. We are waiting for the participants to join. Until then, stay connected.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Vimal, am I getting you?
Yeah, yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay. Am I audible?
Sir, good morning, sir. Good morning, Father.
I can hear.
Background now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So still.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So
Sister
again,
Prince,
getting like this only.
Sister Princia, could I have your help? Sister
Yes,
Princia.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm in line. I'm in line, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your name? What is your name in the panel? What is your name?
Sir, Alphonse Roslin, sister. Under sister's ID only I haven't entered.
Yeah, I will make you host. Of course, please allow the participants. I'll have to assist Dr.
Okay,
John D
sir.
Britto, please. Otherwise, could you please assist Dr. John D Britto? Please call him. Assist him. Please assist him. Sister Princia,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I request you to please assist Dr. John D Britto.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please call him.
Sir. Sister John D Britto, sir. John D Britto, sir. John D Britto, sir. Phone.
Sir, will it exactly start from 10?
We are happy to have you all for this international webinar conducted by Servite Arts and Science College for Women. We are happy to have one of the speakers, Reverend Father Paul Raj Michael S.J., Gregorian University, Rome, a pioneering and benevolent person. Welcome, Father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's me.
Welcome, dear participants. You are heartily invited to this webinar. We are waiting for the participants to join. Until then, stay connected. We will begin the webinar sharply at 10 a.m. Please stay connected.
Yes. Yeah, that I have done.
Professor Janagi, are you there? Professor Janagi, can I have you? Professor Janagi, could you please come into line? Professor Janagi.
We welcome all the delegates, participants from various parts of the world. We have delegates from Germany, African countries, and some delegates are from northern part of India. I welcome you all to this international webinar on behalf of Servite Arts and Science College for Women. We will begin the program sharply at 10. Thanks for joining us.
Professor Janagi, are you there?
I've got 200 participants. It's a very happy welcome. Welcome, dear participants who are connected using YouTube. Please stay connected.
Professor Janagi, who is in charge of YouTube. Professor Janagi, kindly come into line. Professor Janagi, could I have you online? Professor Janagi, could I have you online? Professor Janagi, could I have you online? Professor Tangapandian, could I have you online?
I'm in YouTube, sir.
Is it connected? Professor
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. YouTube connected, sir.
If everything is okay, is
Yeah,
audible?
yes, sir. Everything okay, sir?
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Full number of participants.
Yes.
Sir,
May I know who is speaking?
What is the total number of participants? Actually,
We have got 200 participants,
okay, for testing.
230 participants.
Actually, for testing, I have asked that question. Okay, sorry for that. Okay. It is already connected.
Vimal
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah.
Sir.
Sir?
Vimal sir.
Sir, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you see my background. This is my background.
1 minute, sir. I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I connectable?
yeah, you are connected, sir.
Hello,
Am I
this is my
connected, madam?
background.
Yes, sir,
1 minute.
you are
I'm
connected.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Vimal. Hello, Vimal.
Good morning,
Hello,
Dr.
Vimal.
Arun.
Good morning. Hi.
Good morning, Dr. Arun. Welcome, welcome.
Vimal, I can see some of the audience who is there in their bed, and then the background. So, if possible, that some of our people can cut their video.
I couldn't get you.
Like I can see some of the audience. Their video is live. Okay, and they are like sleeping in their bed, or like they are in their bed. Could you please cut their things? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, please arrange one guy who to monitor such things and then cut it the video from them. Huh?
MC, could you please little more louder? Your mic is not audible. Your mic is not audible. I'm sorry, your mic is not audible. Please check it. We request the participants kindly disable your video. We request the participants kindly disable your video. We request the participants kindly disable your video because the bandwidth will be very high. We request the participants, please hide yourself. We request the participants. We request all the participants, please hide yourself. We request all the participants, kindly hide your camera. We request all the participants, please hide your camera. We request all of you, please, still we see some of you with video. We request you to please hide your camera. I request the dignitaries and the speakers, please unmute yourself when you talk. I have muted all the participants. I request the speakers
Please unmute yourself before you talk.
Dear participants, delegates, women, international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. We welcome you all. We welcome the delegates from different countries globally and from different states of India. It is a happy morning with a warm climate and a delicate music. I gladly welcome you all, dear participants, to this wonderful event. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. John D Britto, I think you are clear. I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir. Yeah, Dr. John D Britto, I think you are clear. I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science
Dr. John D Britto, I think you are
warmly welcome you all to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education.
I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
I request the participants to mute your mics. Dear participants, please mute your mics. Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science
Dr. John D Britto,
College,
I think you are
warmly welcome you all to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education.
I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
I request the participants to mute your mics. Dear participants, please mute your mics. Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science
Dr. John D
College,
Britto, I think you are
warmly welcome you all
clear.
to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education.
I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
I request the participants participants to mute your mics. Dear participants, please mute your mics. Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science
Dr. John D
College
Britto,
Program,
I think you are
warmly welcome you all
clear.
to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education.
I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
I request the participants to mute your mics. Dear participants, please mute your mics. Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science
Dr. John D
College
Britto,
Program,
I think you are
warmly welcome you all
clear.
to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education.
I think one portion is hidden. One portion is hidden. If you could little more adjust, you will get it, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Since the wall background is blue in color, it's not getting, sir. I don't know why.
Because it accepts only green color, sir. Green color, exactly. No problem, sir. Could you please adjust the screen, sir, to one portion? Because partially it is blue and the other side it is another color.
Yeah.
That's why we get this. Yeah.
So green color background you need.
That's not a problem, sir. That's not a problem. Just try once again, sir. We got it actually. We got it, and just now we are.
But not the entire screen, no.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No. That side it is not good, sir. Yeah. So there is one plus button. The plus option should be there. If you click plus, I do not know what operating system that you are using.
Yeah.
Accordingly, we'll have to change, sir. It depends on the operating system.
Windows only.
When you click that, there is a plus portion, sir. You will have to click that plus portion, then it will be all right. At the back, you will have to click. Go to virtual background once again and click the plus portion. And add that. And whatever background that you do not want, just press in that place, particular places at the background.
Sir, I'm not getting.
Sister Princia, could you please assist, sir?
Welcome, dear participants. You are heartily invited to this webinar. We are waiting for the participants to join. Until then, stay connected. We welcome all the delegates, participants from various parts of the world. There are around 300 delegates have joined. We'll wait for some time till others join.
Sir, could you please do it again, sir? Dr. John D Britto, could you please do it again? I think you are getting it. There's a problem with the background.
Background, green background, that's why.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
The background on the blue இருக்கு அதனால வர மாட்டேங்குதா எனக்கு background.
Yes,
We
sir.
have
Maybe
with us our distinguished speakers. Dr. John D Britto, former registrar, MS University, Tirunelveli. Welcome, sir. And we have another eminent resource person have joined us, Reverend Father Paul Raj Michael S.J., Gregorian University, Rome. And we have Dr. Arun Gyanraj, Solution Architect, Dubai. Welcome, sir. I welcome Mr. Rex Arogyasamy. Welcome you, sir.
The blue color பக்கத்துல போகும்போது இப்படி வரலையே.
Dear participants, kindly mute your mic.
Dear Perlin, Professor Perlin, it is 380. 382 participants have joined through Zoom. And please get the information from YouTube.
Okay.
Dr. Janagi, please update Perlin, Professor Perlin. Dr. Janagi, I request you to update Professor Perlin. We request all the participants kindly mute your mic and kindly disable the camera, because if you are with the camera, then it will consume huge amount of bandwidth. I request you all to kindly mute. Dr. John D Britto, now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's perfect. And a little more at the corner, if you could adjust a little bit, then it will be more perfect, sir. At the corner. Yeah. One side. I think your left side.
We have around 30 persons joined in YouTube. Welcome you people. So far in Zoom chat, we have around 400 participants.
Please tilt your camera.
Welcome you everyone. I welcome you all in behalf of Servite Arts and Science College for Women.
And it will be more perfect, sir. At the corner. One side. I think your left side.
We have around 30 persons joined in YouTube. Welcome. Dear participants, Servite Arts and Science College for Women, we welcome you all to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. Welcome you all.
At the corner. One side. I think your left side.
We have around 30 persons.
So, okay, sir.
Yeah, perfect, sir. Perfect. Okay.
Dear participants, I request you to stay connected for a few minutes until the other participants join. We'll begin the webinar sharply at 10 a.m.
Is it okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Little bit disturbance is
There
there.
is one stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, sir. No, sir. It shakes. No, it shakes. No, the screen shakes. That is the problem. Otherwise, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Now it's okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Dear participants, delegates, Servite Arts and Science College for Women warmly welcome you all in the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. Welcome you all in behalf of my college. We have now around 400 participants joined in Zoom. Please stay connected until 10 a.m.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes, Dr. John D Britto. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect, sir. Perfect.
Okay, sir.
Professor Perlin.
Yes,
Professor
sir.
Perlin.
Yes, sir.
Please proceed. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hearty welcome to all the delegates who have joined from various countries around the world. Now we have around 50 persons joined through YouTube. Welcome you all.
And there are
Welcome.
430 people are in Zoom.
There are around 425 people are joined using Zoom. Welcome you all, dear participants. I welcome you all in behalf of Servite Arts and Science College for Women.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear participants, for joining us. We welcome the delegates from different parts of the world. It is a happy morning with a warm climate and delicate music. I gladly welcome you all, dear participants, to this wonderful event.
Professor Perlin.
Yes, sir.
Professor Perlin, it is time 9:59. You can begin exactly at 10 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Okay. Participants, kindly mute your mics.
Professor Perlin. Professor
Shall I
Perlin,
start?
please begin. Yes, please. 10 o'clock exact.
The clock strikes 10 a.m. now. We will now start the webinar. A very good morning to all the esteemed resource persons, respected organizers and participants from various countries across the world. I'm very glad to welcome you all to the international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. Welcome, dear participants. Prayer is exhaling the spirit of man and inhaling the spirit of God. It's the time to open our arms Secretary to Maria Savior, Servite Arts and Science College for Women, to invoke the God Almighty.
Almighty God, our motherly Father, we praise and thank you for giving us your wonderful gift of life, knowledge, wisdom, joy, peace, and love. In these days of lockdown, you have given us the chance to enrich ourselves by meeting people of different countries, cultures, through this international webinar on the topic, effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. Fill each one of our resource persons, participants, and organizers with your guiding light. Liberate us from all darknesses of the world. Guide us to be the torch bearers and guiding star of our youth and create a new heaven and new earth. Amen.
Thank you, dear sister, for starting the occasion with the blessings of God. Therefore, welcome one another as Christ has welcomed you for the glory of God, says Bible. Now, it's the time to welcome our resource persons of the day. May I request our organizing chair, Dr. Sister Alphonse Rosalind Mary, Servite Arts and Science College for Women to address the gathering.
Wait. Sister, your mic is mute. Somebody please assist system. Your mic is mute.
Hello everyone.
Sister Princia, please open sister's mic. It is mute. It is mute. Sister's mic is mute. Kindly open it. Sister, still your mic is mute. Kindly help. Somebody please help. Assist her. Please open her mic. Participants, we request you to please mute your mic. Participants, we request you to kindly mute your mic. Please respect the August forum. Please mute your mic. Dear participants, we request you to kindly mute your mic. Participants, we request you to kindly mute your mic. Madam, we are getting your voice. Please mute your mic.
Dear participants, kindly mute your mics.
Coming together is a beginning. Discussing together is an enlightenment. Planning together is empowerment. Marching together is the beginning of new dawn. Dear friends, a pleasant good morning to every one of you. On this momentous day, I feel extremely happy and proud to welcome each one of you and proud to be the persons of in this day. I proudly welcome esteemed chief guests, eminent personalities, principals, learned professors, scholars, students, well-wishers. Hearty welcome to each one of you on the topic international webinar on the effective wages usage of ICT tools for the higher education. I feel grateful to the experts who have come to share their knowledge within a short period of time. Life is beautiful when we have people around who love us and care for us. I feel very proud in saying that all our resource persons are well-wishers of our Servite College of Arts and Science for Women. Dear dignitaries, on behalf of our Servite College family, I welcome each one of you for our international webinar. We have more than 1,500 participants, 800 people from India and North India and South India, and 10 countries possible. More than 1,500 people, so really we are very proud. Now it's a great pleasure to welcome and introduce our resource person, Dr. John D Britto, Controller of Examination, Karunya University, Coimbatore, the former Registrar, Manolmaniam Sundaranaar University, Tirunelveli, from the year 2014 to 17. You know, he's a very eminent personality, created new era by his selfless service in the history of St. Xavier's College, Palankote. He has given new face to science. He has published many major and minor projects, UGC, DSC. Yes, I got more than 32 PhDs, 220 research papers. He has presented his paper in Japan, China, UK, USA, Australia, and nearly more than 15 countries. He's got many awards for his NSS, IRG, as well as he was the NSS coordinator of Manoman University for 3 years. He's got awards for his best teacher, best research. He's a great educationist, great missionary, administrator, committed teacher, lover of nature. He has written many books on environmental science. So he's also a best teacher award. He got many times. Best NSS award, best NSS coordinator award also, best research award. So here your awards in both state level, national level, and international level. Sir, really we are very proud in having you as a research person. On behalf of our Servite College, we cordially welcome you, sir. Hearty welcome. Next, I introduce and welcome Dr. Paulraj Michael, a Jesuit priest, who is the Dean of Spirituality from Gregorian University Group. You know, he's a very active and energetic Jesuit priest. He's a professor as well as in St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, as a chemistry professor. He has taken very responsible positions as novice master, editor of the magazine from Westgate College. He has read more than 50 books, both English, French, literature. He has published more than 100 papers. He's a very good and good speaker, jovial person, dynamic person. I can also say he's a very spiritual person, a mystic of our time. So really, we are very happy and proud in having Reverend Dr. Paulraj Michael. Hearty welcome on behalf of our Servite College. Next, I would like to software architect from Atlanta, US. I have a dream. Mr. Rex Archison also is a person with wide dreams, born in a small village. He is really an achiever. He has moved from St. Joseph's College after his studies to Silicon Technologies with the computer center in Untitled Chapter, then to Wipro Bangalore, and now he is in US. He is a great achiever, sincere and genuine person. He is a role model for youth. He is a lover of nature. He loves people, society. He is a compassionate leader, and he's also taken very responsible positions as team leader, manager, etc. Really, we are proud of you in having our program. Hearty welcome, dear Mr. Rex Archison.
Thank you, sister.
I want to welcome proudly Professor Umal Gerald. He has finished his PhD, also passed the NET exam. He's working as the professor in St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, as the computer professor. You know, some people the words are lovely, as the words of Robert Frost says, I have miles to go before I sleep. He's a person with great enthusiasm. He had a heart of a poet and mind of a scientist. He's a committed teacher, social worker, youth coordinator, guiding star, expertise online educator. He's a resource person for many programs. He's a person with selfless service, was also the coordinator in ICA for many years. Really, we are proud to have such an eminent personality. Hearty welcome, dear Professor Umal Gerald.
Thank you, sister.
Next, I want to welcome Dr. Arun Nyanaraj, Solution Architect from Dubai. He is also a student of St. Joseph's College. He has done his PhD in Bharatiyar University. He's taken very responsible positions. He's a team developer. He's a person with a logical mind, mathematical aptitude, He is resilient aptitude, a project analyst, designer and developer. He also got many awards. So in this young age, he is a role model for many of the people. So really we are proud of you, Mr. Arun. Dr. Arun, we really welcome you on behalf of Servite College of Arts and Science for Women.
Thank you, sister. Thanks a lot.
Though their participants who have come here from all over the country and many parts of the world. So though we are there are the oceans, mountains and rivers and space, time separates us. We across all the boundaries which divides us and united as a human family through ICT. So you have responded very positively. So really we are very grateful in welcoming each one of you. So you are the source of inspiration for each one of us. So we are really once again welcome you, each one of you, for our international program. So dear participants, once again I welcome all the participants from the countries, from all over the countries, US, UK, Australia, Germany, more than 10 countries people have visited, and North India more than 800 people, and from Tamil Nadu and all other southern states also many people have visited. So really we are grateful to you. So once again on behalf of our Servite family, we welcome one and all for this international webinar on the topic effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. Yeah.
Thank you, sister, for your warm note of welcome. Welcome the challenges. Look for the opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. May I request Sister Princia Mary, the organizer of this conference, to deliver the dynamics of the webinar.
Education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. ICT is the most powerful tool to sharpen education. Good morning to all the respected dignitaries and participants. The whole world has been locked due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It is far more than health crisis. COVID-19 affects the society, economies, most probably the education at the core. Schools and colleges were shut down all over the world. Globally, billions of students are out of the classroom. As per the saying, every cloud has its silver line. Even though COVID-19 has nudged the higher education, it has also pushed the education to change. Yes, it's true. As for me, COVID-19 has become a catalyst for educational institutions worldwide to search for innovative solutions in a relative short period of time. The best solution, the silver line of the COVID-19 cloud, is ICT, Information and Communication Technology. So, to upshot the above solution, we, Servite Arts and Science College for Women, is conducting an international webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education. We believe that it will be an eye-open for the future generation. The flow of the seminar is as follows. Dr. John D Britto speaks the importance of higher education and how it can be strengthened during this pandemic period. Followed by him, Mr. Rex Arogyasamy will share the importance and usage of ICT tools for the upliftment of the higher education. Then, the participants are free to clarify their quest based on the webinar title. Next to interactive session will be an panel session titled How the Teaching and Learning Process Has Been Practiced COVID-19. Finally, a call to action. Feedbacks will be collected from all the participants. Last, my dear respected dignitaries and participants, COVID-19 locked down the world, but sunrise is not locked down. Nature is not locked down. Our family is not locked down. Relationship is not locked down. Education is not lockdown. Really, COVID-19 opens the door of precious things, valuable things. Here, the door opens as international webinar on effective usage for higher education. Let's stay safe and cherish it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear sister. As Plutarch says, in words are seen the state of mind, character, and disposition of the speaker. Now, I request Dr. John D Britto, former registrar, MS University, Tirunelveli, to deliver his words of knowledge. Welcome you, sir.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected organizing chair of this international webinar on effective usage of ICT for higher education, Dr. Roslyn Mary, and the principal of Servite Arts and Science College for Women, respected secretary of the college, Reverend Sister Xavier, respected Dr. Paul Raj Michael, professor in Gregorian University from Rome, respected Mr. Rex Arakisami, software architect from USA, respected Dr. Arun Nyanraj, solution architect from Dubai, respected Professor Vimal Gerald from St. Joseph's College, Trichy, and respected members of the organizing team and respected dear delegates. Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to appreciate and congratulate the organizing chair, Dr. Roslyn Mary, and the principal of the college for having organized this wonderful webinar on effective usage of ICT tools for higher education, which is the need of the hour today. I also would like to appreciate the team members of the organizing committee, like Dr. Vimal, for having taken all efforts in organizing this webinar. I also would like to thank the organizing chair and the other members and the principal of the college for having given me this wonderful opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts for your reflection. My talk will consist of 4 parts. First, a brief introduction. Then, why we should use ICT in our higher education. What is the purpose, or what are the benefits, or what are the advantages of using ICT in our higher education. The third part, what are the limitations and the challenges we face when we introduce ICT in higher education. And finally, what is the solution? What to do next? So let me start with my introduction. Dear friends, as we all know, we are all living in the world of information and communication technology. After the introduction of computers, electronics, and information technology, the world has become a global village. The world is just a click away. The world is in your fingertips. Whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, you can get any kind of information within a few seconds. So ICT has revolutionized all walks of our lives. Let me share the screen. Yeah. It has penetrated in all walks of our life. For example, in commerce, we find the applications of ICT. Everybody is using Amazon, Flipkart, and Zomato, and so on. And in banking sector, in industries, in transport, in medical field, space and research, media, agriculture. These days, drone technology is used very much in agriculture, printing technology, communication. You know very well how smartphones and iPads are very commonly used by people, and ICT has also penetrated into our education system. So it is interwoven with our lives. And all the more, future is going to witness tremendous changes with the introduction of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and robotics. Just to give you some practical examples from our day-to-day life, I'd like to share with you some examples which I experienced and which many of you would experience. For example, if you go to a bank, 30 years before or 25 years before, they used to give you a small passbook. Then they have a very big ledger notebook of a table size. Every customer will have a page in it. When you go for any kind of transaction, the accountant or the branch manager has to enter manually all the transaction details, the credit, opening balance, closing balance, debit, everything. Now, imagine the scenario today. We all use internet banking, online banking. They say, you only need one. With one single apps, you can do any kind of multiple transactions in your bank without going to the bank. Take, for example, another example in telecom industry. 30 years before, some of you would have seen the old model of the phone, dial phone. When you want to make a call, you have to dial the number 6 times or 7 times. If it is an international call, then you have to make about 10 times dial the numbers. Sometimes if you miss one number, again you have to dial 10 times. Now imagine even a small child, 3 years, 4 years child is able to operate smartphones. You can call to anybody, make a call to anybody at any time, anywhere, using your smartphone or touch phone. And we have WhatsApp, Skype, and even this Zoom, all these things.
Sir, could you please make your screen bigger, sir? Slideshow. Thank you, sir. Sorry for disturbing.
Then, regarding this reservation, for example, travel, in transport, how ICT has penetrated. In travel, those days, when you want to make any kind of reservation, you have to go to the railway station or bus station and wait in the queue, fill the forms manually and submit and get the hard copy of the ticket. Now, you can travel anywhere without a paper ticket. Even you can check in directly into a flight without a paper ticket.
Sir, kindly make your screen bigger, sir. Slideshow mode.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Similarly,
F5, sir. F5.
yeah. Similarly,
thank you, sir.
ICT has been introduced in very many walks of our life. Take, for example, printing technology. Those days, we had only one typing machine, typewriter. Then we had electronic typewriter, then ordinary printers, now laser printers. We are also moving into 3D printers. So dear friends, whether we like it or not, ICT has penetrated into all the walks of our lives. So it is the right time to think and shift our education system from the classical methods of teaching, learning, and evaluation to ICT-enabled learning and evaluation. That is from chalk and talk method and pen and paper methods to ICT-enabled TLE, teaching, learning, and evaluation. In classical TLE, teacher is the center of attraction, teacher-centered education, where we consider teacher knows everything and students know nothing. Teacher has to give and students have to receive. But in ICT, there is a paradigm shift from teacher-centered education to learner-centered education. In ICT TLE, the student becomes the center of focus. Dear friends, this corona COVID-19 has affected the entire world. Many people have lost their lives. Many people have been affected by this disease. And the entire world, all the countries, different sectors, almost all sectors have been affected. And it has forced us to think and shift to ICT technology. So there is a need now to shift our classical methods of TLE to ICT-enabled TLE. ICT is not new to Indian education. If you trace the history of education in India, if you trace the evolution of education in India, India has taken up major initiatives in terms of content delivery and furthering education through information and communication technology. For example, in 2000 itself, we had a program in Doordarshan called Jnana Darshan, a program, an educational program for school kids, university students, and even for adults. In All India Radio, we had a program offered by IGNOU and IITs called Jnana Vani. Again, IGNOU in 2005 itself introduced a knowledge repository called E-Jnana Ghosh. And in 2001 itself, the NPTEL has introduced, with the help of IITs and IICs, these online programs. And now we have Srishti online program portal for research, Swayam, MOOCs, massive open online courses, and of course, Coursera is an international portal for online courses. Also, we have a branch in India. Dear friends, now you may ask why we should shift from classical TLE to ICT-enabled TLE. What are the advantages of using ICT? What are the benefits of using ICT? There are innumerable advantages and benefits of using ICT, especially in higher education. but I'm going to highlight only a few important points. For example, first one, it reduces the burden of paperwork. Imagine from school to universities, how much of paper we use for printing the books, printing the notebooks, printing the question papers, printing the answer booklets. But if you start using ICT, you can reduce not only the amount of paper we use to 90%, but also the cost and the energy. You can also save the environment by reducing the use of paper. Number two, ICT offers a strong platform for better communication. Because in classical TLE, we use only chalk and talk method or pen and paper test. But in ICT, you have options, many options. You can use PowerPoint presentations. You can use smart boards. You can use videos and audios. You can play films, stories, anecdotes. You can conduct quizzes, online quizzes. You can conduct online tests and examinations. So thereby it improves better, or it improves communication. Preparation and conduct of exams becomes easier in ICT in higher education. The faculty members, they will upload the question papers. At the time of examinations, students will use iPads or laptop or smartphones. The questions will be downloaded. They will answer to the questions. Then if the questions are of objective types, it will be valued by the system. If the questions are of descriptive types, then the answers will be sent to the concerned faculties, to their system, to their computers. Then they value the answers on the screen and assign marks. Then marks are sent to the server, and the software in the server will calculate the grading and other things, and results are published within 2 or 3 days. So preparation and conduct of exams becomes easier when we introduce ICT in our higher education. For example, TNAU, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, has been conducting online examinations for the past 10 years. Number 4, ICT motivates learners through visual representations and improved modes of presentation. That's what I told earlier. You have different options for presentation. And as you know, there are 3 kinds of learners: visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. In classical TLE, only the auditory learners are benefited much. Whereas when you use ICT, all the types of learners, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners, would be equally benefited. That is the advantage of using ICT in our higher education. It provides in-depth understanding of the subject matter. Then, as you know, in every class, there are different kinds of students in terms of intelligence, in terms of understanding ability, in terms of talents, and so on. There will be individual differences. There will be small, fast learners. There will be advanced learners. There will be slow learners. And some students need more time to understand the subject. In classical TLE, it is very difficult to manage these factors. Whereas when we introduce ICT, it satisfies all types of learners: slow learners, medium learners, and fast or advanced learners. And students can learn the subject on their own pacing. time. Slow learners can take their own time. Fast learners, they can finish the lessons quickly. For example, when you take up a course in Coursera, if it is a 6 weeks course, if you are a fast learner, you can finish it within 3 weeks if you want. You can finish it within 4 weeks if you want. If you are a slow learner, even you can extend the course up to 8 weeks if you want. So that is the advantage of ICT in higher education. Then it enables collaborative learning, peer learning, and peer reviews. It is not necessary all the time the faculty members or the teachers should help the students. ICT has this advantage. Students among themselves can collaborate, can discuss, and learn by themselves. It increases information reliability and accuracy. That means when you download or when you get data from reliable sources, reliable websites, journals, articles, research papers, then it is more reliable and it is more accurate. So students will be able to get reliable and accurate information when they use ICT. Teachers also, they change the teaching practices, planning tools, and assessment rubrics. Now what we use chalk and talk method and maybe notes of lesson practice, and also pen paper test and a blue book or log book to enter the marks. Whereas in ICT, it completely changes the teaching methods, planning tools, and also the assessment rubrics. It enhances the confidence among the students, and it helps to learn the subjects independently. They need not depend on the faculty members, on the teachers every time. So whenever and wherever they want, they can learn the subject independently. So it becomes a learner-centered approach. That's why I said earlier, classical TLE is teacher-centered education, whereas ICT-enabled TLE is learner-centered or student-centered approach or education. Then it is also a boon for the parents. You find during this lockdown period, many parents have become teachers. They are using the online tools to educate, to instruct their children at home. That's what's happening not only in India, throughout the world. And it has also made our research work very simple and easy. Research scholars are able to collect the literature they want within few seconds, within few minutes. Those days when I conducted research in 1990s, I used to go to different places, different libraries for literature collection, for protocol for doing experiments. But now it has become very easy for the researchers. Within 3 months or within 2 months, they can finish the literature collection or literature survey by sitting in their room itself. So these are all, and as you know, many of you are aware of this Bloom's taxonomy. There are 6 levels starting from remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. This ICT is a good technology method to make the students learn all these skills. Whereas in classical TLE, it is very, very difficult to achieve the higher level of learning skills. For example, analyze, evaluate, and create. When we use ICT, it certainly helps to learn all the levels of learning skills given by Bloom's. So having understood the importance of ICT, advantages and benefits of ICT. Now I like to highlight some of the challenges, limitations. It is not very easy to introduce ICT at a time. There are very many challenges. I will give some important challenges and limitations. For example, first of all, the cost of acquiring, installing, operating, and maintaining the ICT equipments is really a challenge. It is not easy for every educational institution. Again, in the countries like India, the states like Tamil Nadu, okay, the basic requirements such as electricity, telephone networks, internet services are not available in many places in rural areas. This is one of the major limitation, major challenge when we introduce ICT. Many colleges in some parts of the country, many colleges do not have proper rooms or buildings even so as to accommodate the ICT technology. Then lack of training of the professionals of higher education about the use of ICT. Many faculty members themselves do not understand the techniques of ICT. Then using unlicensed software can be a problem, especially when you use pirated programs. It will lead to legal problems and other difficulties. Then installing learning technology without reviewing student needs and content availability. For example, these days, many companies have come out with the different contents, softwares in ICT in higher education. But without knowing or reviewing the need of the students, need of the faculty, need of the society, without reviewing the curriculum we teach, if we introduce any kind of materials given by companies, then it will be a problem for both faculties and the students. Then imposing technological systems from the top to bottom without involving faculty and students. Without consulting the faculty members and students, what are their needs? What are the techniques they know? Simply buying and installing advanced equipments and technology will not be helpful. It is also a challenge. It is also a limitation. And using inappropriate content from other regions of the world without customizing it appropriately. The content which is good in USA, the content which is relevant in South Africa, the content which is good in Germany will not be suitable for Tamil Nadu, institutions in Tamil Nadu. Or the content which is useful in Tamil Nadu may not be very useful in Bihar. So using inappropriate content from other regions of the world without customizing it appropriately will lead to problems. Then producing low quality content. That is, first we talked about high quality content. Then some companies or agencies, they may produce some low quality content. That also will affect our education system. Then lack of proper provision in security system, such as CCTV monitoring and security guard. So if you don't have a proper security system, okay, there is a possibility for misuse of this ICT in our education system. Now, having understood the benefits and advantages and also the challenges and limitations, now I would like to give some thoughts, points, then what to do next, how to overcome these challenges, how to make use of the ICT in a better way in our education system. For example, first of all, we have to spread awareness amongst the masses about the use of ICT. Not only to the students, faculty members, we have to give awareness to the parents and also to the public about the use of ICT. Then making more and more people computer literate. You know, the literacy rate is increasing in our country. Now we have to concentrate on improving the computer literacy rate. So once the computer literacy rate is increased, then it is easy for us to make use of ICT. Then digital learning courses should be made more user-friendly. So we must make the system in such a way that students and faculty members would find it easy to use these ICT in higher education. Then very importantly, the attitude of the teachers should be changed, especially the senior professors. You may be convinced about the classical methods of TLE, chalk and talk method, and the pen and paper test and so on. But since it is the need of the hour today, we have to change our attitude towards our teaching methods. Then bringing more diversity in courses and assignments. You would have heard about CBCS, choice-based credit system. So there you have different options. You have the freedom to introduce as many courses as possible. For example, in our university, we have introduced 2 online courses compulsory in a BTech program. So before they complete the 4-year BTech program, they have to finish or complete and get credits from 2 online programs, either from NPTEL or from Coursera. So like that, we can think of introducing as many as online courses in our regular curriculum. Finally, so you may be wondering, on the one side, we have lots of benefits, advantages of using ICT. On the other side, we have limitations and the challenges. So how can we introduce or use this ICT in a better way? For which I would like to give an idea. It's called blended learning. I give this example. For example, when you want to make coffee, what do you need? You need a coffee powder, milk, and sugar. If you mix these 3, coffee powder, milk, and sugar properly, then the coffee will be very tasty. Similarly, there are 3 types of learning. If you mix these 3 types of learning properly, then our teaching and evaluation process will be very effective. What are those 3 types of learning? First one, face-to-face learning. Then self-paced learning and online classrooms. Face-to-face learning, we are all very familiar with. That is, that occurs in a traditional classroom setting. This could include lectures, workshops, presentation, tutoring, conference, and much more. That we have been doing it. So we need this. We need not completely avoid this. So we need this also. Second one, self-paced learning. This provides the flexibility to learn according to the availability of learners' own time and pace. For example, allow the students to do their assignments and projects, to search and browse the internet for content. So this is another kind of learning. Third one, online classroom. That is collaborative learning, which involves interaction between the learners and faculty members through the web. So if you mix all these 3 in your curriculum, in your teaching, learning, and evaluation methods, then this is called blended learning. Then slowly in the course of time, we can completely switch over to ICT enabled teaching, learning, and evaluation. I think this blended learning will be very suitable for institutions in Tamil Nadu, where we have number of institutions in rural areas, also in other parts of our country. For countries like India, this blended learning is promoted. Finally, we can also think of distance learning. It's called open learning. This learning is open to everybody. It is not restricted to only the classroom learning. It is not restricted only between the students and the teachers. It is open to the public, the office goers, housewives, homemakers, even elders, children at home. So it is open to everybody. So students work on their own at home or at the office and communicate with the faculty and other students via email, electronic forums, video conferencing, chat rooms, instant messaging, and other forms of computer-based communication. So I would like to suggest through this forum to the principals, professors, and all other dignitaries attending this webinar to try this blended learning first, and slowly we can go for completely ICT enabled learning. So to conclude, first I have given the importance of ICT, how ICT has penetrated into all walks of our lives, and ICT is not new to Indian education system, and I have highlighted the benefits and advantages of using ICT in higher education, and I also have touched upon the limitation and challenges of using ICT in higher education. And finally, I have also given some idea called blended learning and open learning for our higher education to introduce. So once again, I'd like to thank the organizing chair, Reverend Dr. Rosalind Mary, and her team members, and all the members of the college and the secretary for having given me this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts for your reflection. Thank you so much and wish you all the best.
There was a time when people felt the internet was another world, but now people realize it's a tool that we use in this world. As you said, technology became a part of our lives today. Thank you very much, sir, for adding so many informative to our brain. In limited time, you have clearly explained in detail. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Margaret Fuller says, if you have knowledge, let others light their candles in it. Yes, here comes our esteemed speaker, Mr. Rex Arokyasamy, software architect, Atlanta, Georgia, US, to enlighten our mind with his words of wisdom. Welcome you, sir.
Respected sisters, distinguished speakers, and dear participants, it's great pleasure to meet all of you here. It's fantastic opportunity I have this today to speak with you all, respected teachers. What an amazing way to get connected. I think it's to see such a huge list of participants. I myself very proud to introduce myself as also a teacher. I have started my career as a teacher. In initial years, I worked in a school, 2 colleges, and then 3 computer software training institutes, and later worked in 4 different software companies. So to start into this actual discussion, so Dr. John D Britto has given enormous information about this ICT. I just want to take a little deviation and cover the core concept which is required. Why? What are the challenges? What is the importance of higher education to uplift the students? And then finally walk through that end into that ICT applications. Also, I like to share the short presentation as well. So might be during this speech, I'll refer some of the terms which might be different unit of measurement. I want to take you, all of you, a little back in the history of our Earth. 450 crores of years before, from the debris of nebula, sun, the Earth is formed. So it took millions of years to get this cool down, to settle the heart. Later, it is cooled down, and then slowly things have started coming into Earth. So we got the air, we got the water, and later small lives started thriving. So it took so many years, and around 50-60 million years ago, we know that the dinosaurs disappeared from our Earth. So in this whole 450 years of our Earth, only last 50,000 years, so it is the human being. So that too, in maybe last 20 centuries, that is important in the human history. We have numerous challenges so far. Maybe 5 centuries before, 10 centuries before, we have so many challenges. But the mankind have able to come through all of the challenges. Any of you think, so we have come across all challenges, everything is settled, it is going to be happy life? It's not. You all know what is the current situation we are. Unprecedented situation. It will be over in another 6 months, 10 months, but after that normality will come. But do you think challenges, everything is over? No, we are going to have numerous challenges. And we need people to fix all those problems. Who's in hand? Whose hand the job is there? It is teachers like you, the great teaching community. So the whole challenges we have to meet, irrespective of countries, all humans together, we have to face the challenges. At least better be prepared for the future. So that's the objective. So I like to say the whole responsibilities with the teachers like you, like us. You might be wondering, hey, we have a doctors here, engineers here, why that whole responsibility comes to the teachers? In our home, at the end of the month, we might have some problem. Hey, we have to pay the home rent, gas bill, internet bill, phone bill. Wife is complaining all things to husband. He's telling the person who's on up, he will take care of everything. So similarly, for all such problems for the human we are going to face, or what is required, all of them lies in the hands of teachers, professors, lecturers, all of us. So one thing we have to make sure, we have to prepare that our current generation in a powerful way, so that they meet all the future challenges in an effective way. That is the objective. Okay, so there are different areas, not just one specific area. So general, you may know in the current scenario or in the future, what are all the kind of challenges? So let's have a quick visit of those. So it might be food, healthcare, lifestyle, automobiles, fast-moving consumer goods, governments, technology. We need to invest in all the technologies, and then we have to prepare the student community. But we have some fundamental challenges. Maybe here in this discussion, we have parents, we have teachers, some of them maybe even students also. You know the current situation. So how to make our students to be effective? You know the challenges, how to make them study, spend quality time. That's important. See, everything you need to invest time, right? In a home, there is a talk between the husband and wife, maybe mom and dad. Mom is complaining to the dad, hey, our son, college going son, you are giving money for my personal expenses, but I keep it everywhere or anywhere. Our son searching and finding wherever I keep that money. I don't know what to do, where to keep it. I ran out of that idea. Father is telling, okay, don't struggle too much. Keep that money in his books. That is the only thing he doesn't touch at all. So that is the kind of scenario, getting our younger generation to be engaged, and then what they are doing, concentrating. So that's the thing we all have to put enough efforts to make sure things are moving. So our challenges for this future, different industries, different things we need to prepare. So I just want to give a brief background about our education system comparing with some other countries. Also, I like to tell something, the basic fundamental education in US. So like in India, here in US as well, for the entire school students, right from the grade 1 to grade 12, absolutely, education is free. And you have been provided all the required equipments for your ICT laptop or whatever equipments required, all of them has been provided. They have been given a transport. Everything is there. So only thing is, okay, so I can go and join anywhere in any school which I like based on my convenience. That is not possible. So in each of your home or your area, that is fixed to a elementary school or middle school or a high school. So you have to go and join the school. Of course, there are some private schools, but the education cost is too much. Also, it is rare. Transportation arrangements, you have to make it. So generally, the education is very good for the up to the 12th grade. People learn by doing things, understanding things, not just memorizing. That's the important thing. Even then, there is a considerable percentage of students, they have been dropped out, not going to the college education. There comes the higher education, the college. That is the costly business. As you know, the education in US, it's outstanding, uncomparable. All the top educational institutions here. So they have produced such a qualities, people, corporates, scientists, wherever, medicine, all technologies. So they invent so much. So that is why all around the world, people are rushing to study in the different universities in US. We have a Massachusetts Institute of Technology. or Harvard University, Stanford, Princeton, so many universities. So, but you need to be meet a certain criteria. Also, there is a huge number of students. Countries like China, 300,000 students every year coming from India as well, and many other countries. So we have a mix of people, but more than that, the learning experience, it's outstanding. So they have tie-up with so many institutions. So you will learn a lot of things that will make your career absolutely fantastic. Also, there are a few other flexibilities which you may not find like in many other parts of the world. Generally, the undergraduate, it is about a 4 years degree course. Maybe after 2 years, you can change to other university as well based on your convenience. That's very common. Maybe 30% of people, they change different universities, not just that one. Even I don't like that subject, I thought something else, I just want to do a different subject. So, absolutely possible. So you can switch over to different majors also. So definitely for the first year, second year, it is going to be some common things like mathematics or language, social science, that kind of things. Maybe fourth year and the third year, it will be dealing with the major subjects. But another thing is, so after your graduation, for any kind of students, if you're from abroad, maybe you can, after your graduation, you can do the practical training, maybe 1 year, 12 months, up to 12 months, you can work in some companies, gain some real-time knowledge. But in case if you're a science technology, like a STEM courses, maybe you can extend up to 36 months. So that's the thing. So the education-wise, it's outstanding opportunities, and it is every year producing brilliant people in the planet. So things are not different, maybe not up to that level, but even in education in India, it is much more improved last few decades. We are observing every year, right? So what kind of quality in institutes we have come, quality professionals, lectures, so enormous people, they have come into education sector. So it's really amazing. We are producing quality people. There is no doubt about it. See, after that independence in 1947, so you know that what kind of struggles we have come across. So feminine poverty, partition, unemployment. So there was a visionary, Jawaharlal Nehru. After that independence, he has established the IITs. He understood that importance, where the country has to travel, which path, what kind of our objective, where we have to stand. We have to come out of all these things. So he has established IITs, IIMs, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, even the parent organization for ISRO, so many things, but not that one. But after that 5-6 decades, it's continuously improved that the quality of education in India. We have tremendous universities, personal private universities, government colleges, universities. We are producing so many quality people. So most of you here are teachers. See, why we are learning history in our subjects, we should understand where we were, what is our origin, from where we have come. You should know, you should be proud of it. So that will form your mind and then make aggressive in your mission to create such a dedicated pool of students. Our people, we have generated so many intellectuals, in fact, and they have taken our space program to unlimited heights. So you all know our former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he was heading, he was a part of ISRO, and before that DRDO. So he in his tenure, there are many other chairmen in ISRO and in our DRDOs. So they made wherever milestones. So maybe I'll tell you something. Because we are in the allied pool of countries, not many of them. We have 200 plus countries. Only 5-6 countries they have achieved something. So we have started with the polar satellite launch vehicles, and now today we have improved to GSLV Mark III. So it can place the huge payload satellites into that orbit. And also that DRDO, we have invested huge technology, people together, and we have made that integrated guided missile system, ICBM or maybe IRBMs. We started with the Agni, Prithvi, Akash, Nak, so many missile systems, even missile defense system as well. So that's all the huge achievement, because we produce such a quality people, professors like you. So that aggression need to drive us to move to that next level. No need to mention about that IT industry, where we are. We are not developing for our domestic purpose. We are driving that entire earth, different countries, all developed countries. Either they are supersonic flights or the largest aircrafts like Airbus A380 or the Boeing, wherever you mentioned, that software, such a huge talent of people. We have millions and millions of software engineers we have generated. Just once upon a time, it was some back-end operations. We have moved far beyond, much beyond imagination. So we have produced such a huge talent pool, and they are taking us to a different level. So we should be proud of that one. It's not some one or two places. You should visit that places, Delhi NCR, Pune, Hinjawadi, and then Salt Lake City in Kolkata, High-Tech City, Hyderabad, OMRE, Chennai, Electronics, Whitefield, Bangalore, Technopark in Trivandrum. Everywhere. So we have created that such a pool of talented resources, and we are going to develop much more innovation in this field. So that's where we need to be there. So it's all makes us proud what we have achieved so far. It's not now, even 100 years before, we have the Sasibi Raman and Chandrasekhar, Nobel laureates in physics. There were in other economics, we have Abhijit, Amartya Sen. There were number theory, infinite series, unsolvable mathematical problems. Just 32 years of age, Ramanujan. He has found that solutions for unsolvable problems. So that's the success of our teaching community. So we have that same inertia to move forward. Now let's discuss some common problems where it might be. So far you might be thinking, okay, so the bandwidth is a problem. So in the next few years, we are going to spend so much our manpower, increasing the bandwidth to 5G, 6G, whatever it is. No, now you know that one. So we are in a situation, we are struggling to have some kind of a solution for the current pandemic. That is not the only thing. We are going to have many more. Many of our cities gone dry. Maybe in another few years, we don't have
स्टोरी सुनते हो मोबाइल डाला कर
situation is going to differ. So we need to find solutions for all of them. So let me quickly go through some of the important problems. You know, the current population in the world maybe around 700 plus or 7 billion. But you know how much fruits are harvest, food item, how much we are producing? It is 9 billion people. It is enough for 9 billion people. So we have currently food for extra 2 billion, 200 crores of people. But still, you know that situation. Many people, they are going to sleep without food. Why? People are wasting food. See, for once, I had to travel to Germany, Stuttgart city for some of the work. The coordinator who took me to some restaurant, we were eating something. So we are unable to complete the food what we have ordered. So I thought, okay, let it fine, we have paid. He told, okay. So it is not possible here in Germany because food is, it's a national resource. You cannot afford to waste it. There is a very good chance you might be fined by the law enforcing authority. So we need to find the solutions for logistics. Every year in India, we don't have enough storage facilities. At least $8 billion worth of food is rotten. Maybe that is equal to 60,000 crores of rupees. So we have to find that solutions for all such problems. Already we are in a difficult situation. So now many of the states in North India, so we got that news, locust swarm that has come. That is another thing. It is going to destroy all our pesticides, all our harvest. So we are, our different department people, they are trying to find some solutions, maybe work out, because it's a different thing. We don't have that kind of problems. We need a solution, permanent solution. But I think it is not going to be over by this season. It is going to be the everlasting problem. We need to be prepared. But already we have enough problem. See, you might be tasting at your home. Okay, almonds from California that caters around 80% of the world. Okay, Tasmania apple, or a Washington apple, or a Kashmir apple, or the Nagpur orange. In few years, you may not get anything at all. Who's responsible? So we have a honey bees that used for pollination. We apply all pesticides. Even for this locust swarm also, we are putting all pesticides. Already it is reducing every year. Maybe in few years that there is a chance whole honey bee itself, it may disappear and we may not have that much food to grow. That is going to, there are certain crops like rice, wheat, corn, that kind of things doesn't need a honeybee pollination. Still that may be there, but we need to build that current society. They aware all such knowledge. Do you know, maybe in another 30 years, in all our ocean, there will be more plastics than fish itself. That kind of scenario. You are going to struggle for getting a water for your basic essential use itself. Maybe you should go for a steam bath or something like that. That situation will come. It is not far away. So we have to train our people. So teachers like you are interacting with them. Make them responsible. Teach something. It doesn't mean it is not within your boundary. You have different things to teach. But you should know that the importance, all of them. Take a pioneer role, training our students. It's not something you pass them to. Students, I'm giving 5 URLs today. Go home, read all of them, understand about nature. That will not work out. You need to know where we are living. So what kind of challenges we have, and tell them, share that information, make them educated. We are still burning fossil fuel. How many years it is going to come? Good thing is we are pioneered. Now we are moving forward using that non-conventional energy resources, wind power, solar power. Let us use as much possible. But even today, we are using billions of dollars in power transmission. So there are certain kind of problems. we have to overcome. So that is that. We brought a green revolution few decades before. After independence, we had some problem. So we brought that green revolution, and we have started tractors. We imported tractors, tillers, chemicals, fertilizer, pesticides. We brought everything. Our farmers, they spend so much money cultivating land by applying all the fertilizers. Do you know the situation? Have you, any of you visited your farms nearby? They are lifeless mostly. Without pesticide, or without any chemical fertilizer, nothing will grow there because it lost the fertility. But there are solutions. See, these people, what you can see here, or Masanabu Fukuoka, or Miyawaki on bottom left, Subhash Balekar. So if you're from the state Maharashtra or Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, maybe in other parts as well, Subhash Balekar is very popular for zero budget farming. And they have a solution for everything. Master Nabu, he suggested, no till, don't spend time, don't spoil that land. So we need to educate our coming generations, so they how to take it. See, any of you have some questions? Hey, I'm a doctorate doing PhD to my level, what I can do. So I'll suggest, wherever you are, whatever you are, there is a role you can play and there is a responsibility you can do that. All of us has to work together to come across all these challenges. Maybe professors are here in large numbers. I'm very happy to see them. There are some students as well. In your college campus, you might have seen some large trees with such a huge trunk. Any of you know from where it is getting that mass? How it is becoming fat? From where it is coming a mass? If you think by adding a water or fertilizer in the soil, no, you are wrong. That is only because the research has proven it just consumes a very negligible amount of water and nutrients from the soil, but it absorbs carbon from the soil, air, and then absorbs the carbon, builds it, and then the trunk is formed. That is why people are telling to plant more trees. It absorbs all the fossil fuel emitted carbon back into the tree, deposit there. So, so I hope you will understand this one, and maybe you can train the people, understand that importance. So I don't need to give much explanation about these people. Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, and on the left side, so Azim Premji, the chairman of Wipro. So these are all the people, they are billionaires. They are spending huge money for a philanthropy. That is not the main purpose, what I am telling. Maybe Azim Premji, he has donated $21 billion. That's close to 1.5 lakh crores for a different purpose, for a charity, all of them. But that's not the thing. What is the way, how to run that company? Even if you're doing some business after your education, you're going to do some business. Wipro has been given the most ethical company in the world. That's why even they are teaching the employees as well. Stick to the commitments. See, we give a commitment. Okay, sir, we will complete all the assignment homework, whatever we have given, we will return it tomorrow. Are we meeting what we say? So we should build that practice. What we say, we have to do that one. It's not something when people are watching, you are doing the right thing. Even if nobody is watching, still you are doing the right thing. So that is what integrity. So we should learn from some people. For not just for one organization, for a different organization, we used to go to different colleges. So as part of my employer, so I had to visit JNTU in Hyderabad, Jawaharlal Nehru Technical University, IEM in Kolkata, Chitkara University in Chandigarh, maybe in Coimbatore, Karunya University, so all of them. But in the year 2015, in the month of February, I got an opportunity to go for recruiting people in a college, that's St. Joseph's College, Trichy. So it's absolutely unbelievable experience for me. For the campus interview, so we had to interview and select the candidates from a master degree and then undergraduate degree, Professor Rajendran. Just to give a background, so it is the college, St. Joseph's College, Trichy, where I have studied the physics department. But that day, the professor told me, I'm going to take you to the department again to introduce to the staff members. I don't know. So I'm not such a great intellectual. I'm a very ordinary student. Even I stayed in a hostel, which is in the same college, which is inside. So not even a single month where the notice board doesn't contain my name for the late payment of the food bills. So for such a kind of student, average student, going to introduce to all the staff members, the physics department, it's a different kind of feeling. He took me there. Fortunately, my class teacher, Mr. Anthony Raj, that is his last service year. I went into the department. I just touched his feet. I could not get up. Unstartable tears from my eyes. So yeah, even after that, he took me to some other teachers and then to the HOD, but I could not talk a single word. Also, I had to come back to continue my job. So that's the situation. So the professors, you make like the people life, they are not going to forget you their lifetime. You are not just serving to some of the people, but you are serving the whole country itself. Okay. Albert Einstein, what he was telling. So we have a different approach about our college education, right? So it's telling all the facts. What, as per Albert Einstein, education is not about learning facts. It is about making the mind to think. Your students, make them to think. They will find solution for all the problems. They are going to rule the world. So it is important for us. So it's not we read the notes, just understand what we have to do. We have in our human body, we have a brain that is just 2%. But it consumes 20% of the calories. What it takes the 20% of our energy consumption itself. Give some work, make it work hard. We are not jellyfish that doesn't have a brain. We have to work like an octopus which has 3 hearts. We have to make the students thirsty to learn new things. The students, of course, will have problems. We are not just using for 98% of people, right? Not for the people who are just securing 98%. We help as much possible to come out. That is our objective. That kind of satisfaction, happiness, I don't need to tell much. You might have experienced in your profession so far. That is going to. See, if you are anywhere, if you think I need to win this, it is not you are winning means somebody has to lose. That is a situation. It can be win-win. So you have to find in everything. So what should be the best thing? We teach the students, the present day students, how to work for money. But we never teach them how to make the money work for them. Of course, there is a role play to be played by the parents themselves. So that is where we create entrepreneurs, not just scientists, doctors, engineers. You don't need to set, okay, one day I'll become doctor. That kind of, see, either you are a lecturer or a student, you set a small targets. What I can achieve for 1 month, revise it after achieving that one. One of my friend, in the first week of January, I asked him, hey, usually you will go to gym. Why you are not going? I did not see you going this week itself. What he was telling is, see, usually people take that New Year resolution. I have to this year, I have to every day, I have to go to gym. I have to learn new thing. That kind of resolution they make. They will implement for 1 week. After that, it will gone. So usually I'll not go for 1 or 2 weeks. After that, everything will settle. So there'll not be much crowded. That time I'll start going. So see how much it is. You cannot tell. It is incorrect. So it is the actual thing that's happening. I like food, especially biryani. So wherever that restaurants, which part of country or outside, I'll go there. And there is one restaurant in Chennai. I used to go there, and as soon as I went and sat at the table a few times, so that employee, he will come to take that order, right? So still you are busy reading that menu card, he will stand beside you, and he will be looking at face. Okay, so in case if you happen to see him, he will give a signal. Okay, so that kind of motivated people. See, he has a motivation problem, but we should not have that similar problems in our teaching environment. We should make sure we have a clear communication with the students. No, we teach them effective communications. Those kind of things we have to take care. Everybody, teachers or students, you don't need to achieve the rocket science. Mayilswamy Annadurai, the director, mission director for Chandrayaan-1, he successfully completed that mission. So everybody is not going to do that one. Whatever small kind of things you make it, you learn to finish things. Just starting is not enough. Have the habit, learn that habit to complete the things, whatever you take it. That's important. World is changing fast. You don't imagine, or you don't know what is happening around you. Do you know that we are sitting in that earth? It spins itself 1037 miles per hour. Not just that one. Also, it is moving in the forward direction in the orbit at a speed of 67,000 miles per hour. We don't see that we are sitting on something which is moving at such a fast pace, because everything else is moving along with us. So the world is moving. So we have to change ourselves. It's people, what the mistake they do, they spend health, whatever it is, for earning money, they spend half of their life compromising their health. But in the second half of their life, whatever they earned, they are spending again for the health issues. Let's live the life today. Be a strong person. So we should be healthy enough. We have to make sure everybody is there. Perceptions, it changes. When you look at the same thing, two people think two different things. I'll tell you one typical software engineer. Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, he's in bed, he is getting a call. He turns the call, hello, his mom is calling. After hearing that voice, mom is a little tensed. Hey, my son, your voice is not normal. What happened? Are you sick? Everything is fine. Did you eat last night? And he took so much effort convincing her everything is fine. He kept the phone. Within 15 minutes, again he's getting a call from his wife. He's telling again, hello. Wife is calling. Your tone is different. You drank last night. You went for a party. With whom you went? Same person, same tone. Two people see things at two different ways. So you need to judge the students. I recently watched one Tamil movie, Adutha Saatai. So that is one catchy word. If you are sending your son or daughter, don't send to a person who's well educated, but just send them the teacher who's learning on the daily basis. So we need to upgrade ourselves. So if you are a physics student, you might know something about the gravity, importance of gravity, because our space scientists, they put so much effort to move our satellites or launch vehicles getting ejected from that Earth. Newton has discovered that still people think instead of apple tree, if Newton has slept below the coconut tree, physics may not have been that much complicated like today. So that is the mindset. Okay. So we talked a lot about qualities. So coming back to the ICT. So already Dr. John D Britto given an extensive information. So maybe I'll not go through all of them. Let me complete it in a few minutes. I just highlight that the points. So it's not this year we have a student, okay, so we have a subject, let me bring my notes, we read this, you prepare some presentation today. 1 year has over, next year same batch or same subject, different students coming, okay, let me remove that dust, use that thing. It's not about it. You need to be refreshed, keep it updated, keep it simple, use the tools effectively. Why we are using all these ICT tools? We need to save the time. We have a very limited time, but we have to teach a lot of things. So effective utilization of time, that's one thing. And also whatever information we want to convey, it is going and reaching that student. And then finally, make them to visualize what you are trying to teach. It sits on their mind, started thinking. So that's the purpose of using all this thing. But there are constraints. you have to take care of all of them. You don't need to prepare complex things. Whatever, just a small effort will help a lot. Prepare that digital content, share with them, get that feedback, just keep on updating. And there are legal things which you have to take care. So copyright information, all of them. So it depends on which kind of ICT you are using. So you might be teaching some management related or CNC machine diagram or the civil diagrams. So you might be using a different softwares or some simple things. So wherever you're using, so you have to take care of all of these things. Even now schools, right from grade 2, 3 onwards, they are using a Google Classroom for submitting all their homeworks. So let's try out all these things. So we need to be updated, learn new things, internet, like how we handle so far fire, electricity, they are dangerous, but how we use for constructive purpose. Similarly, internet also, we have to familiarize with that tool, not just for teaching, even for monitoring students or for our own children. So that's the whole point I want to bring. So let me conclude. So it's a wonderful opportunity given to me. I'm very much thankful for the management and the organizers, also all the participants for listening to this discussions. So it's a wonderful experience for me. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
As I said earlier, our esteemed speaker has illuminated our minds by his thought-provoking words. The way he started the session by going back to our planet Earth and today and to the present day of our lives. It is very inspiring, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Greetings from Dr. Serena Margaret.
It is information to the participants. Dear participants, the feedback form will be shared anytime during the panel discussion, so please stay connected. It's not the answer that enlightens, but the question. Yes, it's the time to interact and ask questions to the dignified resource persons of the day. I request you to ask the questions either by sending it through chat or by unmuting yourself. Thank you.
Greetings from Dr. Serena Margaret.
Respected dignitaries and the participants. Greetings from
Video.
Hello. Hello. Greetings from Dr. Serena Margaret, Associate Professor of English, St. Mary's College Autonomous, Thuthukudi. There are many questions. First question is directed to Dr. John D Britto from Seba Selvi. She has asked, which is a better format, video, PDF, handwritten notes, or live class? Can you explain about this? And also preparing digital notes, preparing process.
Okay, right.
Can I
Hello. 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 Hello.
Can I answer to this question, please?
Yeah, please, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the question, madam. Actually, these days there are very many softwares and platforms available. For example, one of the best platforms is Google Classroom platform.
Okay.
There you have different kinds of options. You can upload your notes, PowerPoint presentation, videos, whatever you want, you can upload them and then you can share with your students, and you can also interact online with your students through this classroom platform. You can even conduct quiz programs, assignments, and online test through this Google Classroom platform. So I would suggest to go for Google Classroom platform for all these options.
Thank you, sir. Another question.
Yes.
Can you
now,
please...
Madam, sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry, Dr. Sherina. Now we have got the polling of whether to go for the queries immediately or at the end of the panel discussion. And almost around 76% of the participants have given their polls that we can have the panel discussion at the end of at the end of the panel discussion. So we shall have the queries at the end of the panel discussion. With the permission of the organizing team, shall we move on for the panel discussion? Thank you. Thank you. So we are switching over to panel discussion over to MC.
A lively discussion is usually helpful because the hottest fire makes the hardest steel. Now it's the time to add a bit of knowledge to our brain through the panel discussion. We have got 3 panelists. I welcome Dr. Paulraj Michael S.J., Dean of Spirituality, Gregorian University, Rome, Dr. Arun Nyanraj, Solution Architect, Dubai, and Professor A. Vimal Jarol, Department of Computer Science, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. I request the panelists to take up the session to discuss on the topic teaching and learning out practices post-COVID-19.
Thank you, Professor Perlin. It is indeed a great honor given to me to moderate the panel discussion on teaching and learning practices for COVID-19. I wish you all a very happy morning. I welcome the panelists with a great expertise on education and technology, Dr. Paulraj Michael, the Dean Spirituality, Gregorian University, and Dr. Arun Nyanaraj, Solution Architect, Dubai, to share your expertise. Dear panelists and the participants, World Health Organization says we have got around 61,94,533 positive cases so far, and we have lost valuable lives of 3,76,320 and 320 people, and almost 7.8 billion people are at lockdown. And we expect there are going to be enormous changes in economy of the entire world. The socio-economic status of all the countries almost, and the lifestyle of common man is going to have an enormous change. And certainly the teaching and learning practices of education field is also going to witness alarming rate of changes. Now, before moving on for the business of the teaching learning practice post COVID-19, we would like to listen to the panelists about the situation over their locality. Now, I would like to listen to Dr. Paulraj Michael, who is connected from Rome. Now, Father, could you please share us the situation over there in Rome, in Italy, one of the most affected countries in the world. Father, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Vimal. It all started in the end of January. Before that, people did not know much of these things. And then February, an Italian came from China, had this particular disease and then people had a little fear. Italy had a very good relationship with China, industrial dimension. And so people said, no, nothing will happen. However, there was a kind of fear psychosis came into, and people started avoiding Chinese and that Asian faces. And in Florence, Milan, and other places, the Chinese came with a banner saying that we are not virus, we are human beings. And the Italians went and embraced like that. And the mid of February, it started so much that in Milan, Bergamo, the northern part of Italy, people started dying. Every day, more or less, whole of Italy, 1,000, 1,200, like that. I tell you, more than 34,000 people died till today. Italy is a small country, not like India. And relatively old age group is high in percentage. And so the situation became grave, and then the education sector had a difficulty. We came with the motto from the Gregorian University, La scuola non ferma mai. It means this university will not be closed, never. And so what to do? We started a pedagogy called flexible pedagogy. Flexible pedagogy in terms of teaching as well as learning. Flexible in terms of time and location. Flexible in terms of resources for teaching and learning. Flexible in terms of instructions, learning activities, etc. Time and space, both are becoming relative. We set ourselves. We will not make time and space imperative. As Albert Einstein says in the theory of relativity, came very handy to us. Time and space, both are very much relative. And so how to make use of it? The idea of the flexible pedagogy brought in new elements of teaching. And so we started using Google Drive as a tool, and Google Meet, Google Classroom, and other tools we started using. Of course, Zoom. In the flexible pedagogy, the university, not only Gregorian University, the very famous university in Rome called Sapienza, where there are around 120,000 students. And the new mode of teaching came into existence. And so the situation called us to respond in a unique way. And each one took in his own way. Though we were, most of the professors, most of the students were new to this whole ICT. Though Italy is very much well advanced, but you know, very much of, as Professor John said, chalk and talk method. We were using that. All on a sudden shifting into. And so it is a kind of a paradigm shift for us. I can tell you that the energy that we started using now has become synergy. It is pulling together everything. It is not the teacher becoming the center, but the students becoming the center. And according to their needs, we started pumping the ideas. This is what happened to start with the first part, dear Ima. I will get into the tools because so many questions are coming about the tools. I saw around 100 people are asking. I can give you the tools later.
Thank you very much, Father. It was interesting to know that you have adapted to flexible pedagogical technology, pedagogical methodology in teaching and learning in Rome and particularly in Italy. Thank you very much, Father, for sharing. And it is very much interesting, and it is a news to me that we thought that Italy, a grown-up country which has been exposed with ICT, but as you said, many of you are comfortable with conventional teaching, and it is a news to us. Thank you very much, Father, for sharing this. Now over to Mr. Arun. Mr. Arun, though your country is not the most affected, but still your country is also under lockdown. Now, as an industrialist, as a solution architect, could you please share us what is the situation over there in Dubai, and what is the modalities of work particularly IT industrialist in Dubai. How do you work? How do you proceed? And what is the situation over there in Dubai?
Okay, that's a very nice question. First of all, I thank all of you, okay, to give me an opportunity. Here in Dubai, like we have been in the lockdown for last 1.5 months or 2 months plus. Okay, we have been working from home, and the country has a very strict, policies saying that when to come out, when not to come out. Okay, we'll all get alert in our phone saying that this time we are going to do for a sanitization, so don't come out. It's a very strict policy. This all can be done because I've taken example of lockdown, which has to be properly informed to us. It is possible only because of we have a proper communication in the channel. So government has a very close relation with us. Okay, whatever that they need to send, they will send. And I can tell you there is a one very particular thing. In general, we know SMS. In general, we know WhatsApp or any other thing. But especially in this particular lockdown time, we used to get one type of alert which you never receive in your mobile. Okay, when that alert comes in, all our phone in our home, like 3-4 phones, will be started to give a signal in such a way that we all surely go to the mobile and then tell that, okay, I read this. Otherwise, it will not stop. Okay, so those kind of thing, it's really handy when it comes.
Mr. Arun, your mic is muted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. Your mic is muted. Yeah, you can go ahead. Still, your mic is muted. I'm sorry. Could you please check? Yeah.
I am sorry, Yanni.
The past.
Okay, now it's okay. Now it's okay.
I'll start from the thing. Okay, see, we have started in a very good way. Okay, because even we have been in a lockdown for last 1.5 months plus. Okay, the government gave us instruction in a very good manner so that we all can follow whatever they are giving us instructions. Okay, take an example of I'll tell you lockdown. Now they have a sanitization policy. After 6 o'clock to till morning 8 o'clock, or after 8 o'clock in the night to morning 10 o'clock, like or 6 o'clock in the morning. So in those situations, they are used to communicate to us in a very particular way. Like they will send an alert to each and every mobile. Okay, that usually we know we used to receive SMS, like maybe WhatsApp. This is usually we used to get a communication from any other channel. But particularly in this lockdown period, we used to get one sort of alert. That alert I never had in my lifetime. See, when it comes like 8 o'clock, all my mobile, like in my home, like around 3-6 mobiles are there with the people. Every mobile started to ring it out. That you cannot simply go and skip. Like you need to go to the mobile and then you need to say, okay, I have read this. Then only it will go off. See, this kind of communication will be very handy when it comes a critical situation like lockdown and work culture. Earlier, most of the industry was thinking like working from home will down the productivity. Okay, this is how the scenario, and most of the project has been think that they cannot do work from home because there is a more possibility to get a failure on the project because the persons will not be more responsible. There could be a lot of other factors. But this particular lockdown has proved in such a way that even the industry who thought that they cannot work from home, it forced them to try it out, and there are so many success also happen. Okay, especially in my sector, I can see they never allow us to work from home, but now last 1.5 months we are completely working from home, and I can tell it gives more productivity as well as we have success in projects. Okay, so this is a completely different game changer. Okay, in terms of in most of the industries. Yeah.
Sir, your mic is not clear.
My mic is not clear. Is it okay? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Is it okay?
It is clear. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It is clear. You go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, the lockdown, basically it is like we need to follow it up. It has been an instruction only. Until otherwise you execute it, it will not come. And second, either it's a work or study, whatever, you supposed to have a self responsibility or self respect. Okay, in order to go ahead with the new things. And obviously, yes, COVID is a very big game changer in terms of industry, work culture, and new tools and connectivity and social all the ways.
So thank you, Mr. Arun. I'm surprised to know that the government of UAE has made all possible arrangements to alert people, to secure people from COVID-19. And I'm also very happy to note that there is a paradigm shift to working from home. And you said it is a very successful method found by many of the industries, and I'm sure it is going to have many enormous changes. And over to the participants, and some of you are asking, how about ICT rules? We are slowly coming in. We have started the discussion. To start with a light note, and we are just getting to know from the panelists that what is the situation around. Now we are moving into the picture. Now, as I told you earlier, we are going to have enormous changes with regard to economy, lifestyles of people, and education. Now, dear participants, we also will have, we have had in India as well as in abroad, there are a lot of changes with regard to teaching, learning, and evaluation. We have got so many LMS, learning management systems, very prevalent these days during COVID-19. And many of the teachers, university teachers, school teachers, starting from kindergarten, people are using for virtual teaching. They use for assignments, they use for online testing, and live teaching is happening with Zoom, Meet, Google Meet, WebEx, and whatnot. And there are a lot of learning resources globally available right now. We have got resources from different universities. Different universities have come out with repositories of e-contents, and that is the situation in India. Now, many of the teachers are very busy and more busier than usual when they have real time, when they have teaching in real time in the colleges and in the institutions. Now they are busy in learning technology, equipping themselves. We have got Swayam by the central government. We have got MOOC. We have got NPTEL by Indian government, and we have got Coursera, as Sir said. It provides us the global resources for the students to learn. And one information, UGC has increased the percentage of credit for admitting into the regular courses if they take up one of the online courses these days. And the credit will be added to the regular courses. That is a news to the panelists. And as I told you earlier, each university in India has come out with, not only in India, and even foreign universities and institutions with national importance like IIT, NIT, has opened up the platform for e-content, and they've got wonderful repositories for the benefit of the students and teachers. And there is also a project by Commonwealth countries keeping doors open for learning. And it gives us a lot of resources. If you could browse through this by Googling, keeping doors of learning open COVID-19, participants, please take note of it. This project lists you a lot of ideologies that gives to Commonwealth countries. And of course, European countries are coming out and helping other countries as well. Now, we have got online classes, we have got online tests, online assignments, online courses, webinars, and people share expertise from industries. So all these are happening all over the world. Now, I would like to listen to Father Paul Raj Michael. Could you please share us what is the innovative education practices, particularly in teaching, learning, and evaluation practice in European countries, and particularly in Rome and in specific to your university? Over to you, Father.
Thanks a lot. I am just covering the European Union presentation. Tools for resources producing. If you are keen as a professor, liking to give the PowerPoints, www.wps.cn. You will get into enormous varieties of PowerPoint presentations, models. You can get into, as a professor, www.wps.cn. Very, very powerful tool. Another one for any type of software video production. You get into coursemaker.cn. It is not only for Europe. Everywhere you can use it. I tell you, the presentation will be multidimensional with cognitive, affective, all levels can be projected in and through this particular software of video production. And software of original video with audio production, you can get into the camscanner.com, another tool, very useful tool. Any type of multimedia learning, resource producing, normally we get into Google Meet, Zoom, but there are so many other, I can list it down. There is a software called Rain Classroom software. Rain Classroom, you can get into that. Otherwise, another beautiful would be QQ.com. QQ.com. There is another beautiful tool is classin.com. Classin.com. Mutual debate and then seminars for which you can use cctalk.com. cctalk.com. WeChat.com. Zoom is there, you people use that, but another one is edx.org. These are the things we use in our universities also, most of the professors. And another thing, Udacity.com. Udacity.com.
Father, could you please give it in chat, Father, if it is possible?
Yes, I will send all the materials afterwards to Sister Rosalind also, so that she can send it to all the members. But now that I am giving you that there are different types of tools, as people are continually asking when the resource persons are giving talk, send us the tools, give us the tools like that. So I am saying that we are not having tools, but we wanted to share for the benefit of the good many. Can I continue that, or
please proceed, Father. Please proceed, Father. We shall help the participants with the tools later. Maybe we can give the list of tools.
Yeah, sure. And then there is a kind of two types of teaching methods in ICT. One is called synchronous teaching method, and the other is called asynchronous teaching method. That's what European Union says. Synchronous is time is fixed, but the space is not. Time is fixed, but the space is not. Order is fixed, but the mode is not. The modus operandi, order is fixed, mode is not. This is the beauty of ICT. Synchronous ICT. Asynchronous ICT is another type of method where the students and teachers, they don't fall into any time or any space. For example, here in the Gregorian University has students from 140 countries. I don't think so that any part of the world, any university having this type of students. 140 countries, 5 continents, they are here. When COVID came into, North Americans went, Mexicans went, and Australians went. But how to teach them? We cannot have the time. 8 o'clock here means 1 o'clock in the morning for Americans. So no time, no space, but we are able to connect with them. That is asynchronous teaching method, for which asynchronous you can use, I suppose so, Vimal touched that point, UOOC, a very powerful tool, UOOC.com. You can use it. And then another one is ulearning.cn. These are all for asynchronous. Time and space is not important. You just feed it. The students will, at any time they will check into. And you know that whether he has checked or not. That is the other beauty. The feedback is coming to the teachers. Something very good. And I can also get into some of the subject matters, chemistry, physics, and other. There is a thing called Potato, www.potato.com. any type under the earth, any subject matter, you can get it. And then another beautiful thing, I'm sure Vimal will say that is nobook.com. Notebook, no? Nobook.com. NOBOOK.com. Like that, there are so many tools for the thing. And also whether the students are with you in the psychological level, that also you can find it out through the tools. It is not the teacher or the professor who is teaching, whether they are on the affective level with me or not. I am teaching psychology here. That is very important. It is not that you teach. And you should know that whether the students have really understood or not. And so get into the affective system and then find it out. www.cognitive.com. Another one, www.affective.com. These are the areas where we can really master over. Putting everything together for the institutions, for example, Servite College, you can have Moodle as a common platform. All the Servite colleges can come together in Moodle and then you can start it. It is not only one college teaching. The whole sister concerns can learn from one college. And so Moodle is one of the important tools in that. Another important tool is Edmodo. Schoology. Schoology is a very interesting tool you people can use, as I told, QQ, etc. Only thing is, when you want to utilize these tools, please make it sure that the students have the real liking for the tool. It should be very simple. And whatever I suggested, these are the tools, very simple, but very creative, capturing, very attractive, and at the same time, simple tools which we professors can make use of it during this post-COVID time. Yes, I leave it to you now.
Thank you, Father. It was quite interesting to know that there is a strategy of asynchronous and synchronous teaching and learning practices. I'm also surprised to know that there are students from 140 countries are studying in your university, and but still you have fixed the gap of time region to region to reach them out somehow, which is very interesting. And another wonderful factor is that I am from an ICT, I'm teaching computer science, but you have listed number of online resources and tools which are very much useful for online teaching and learning practices, which is very good, Father. Also, you have touched upon psychological factors. Now many of the students and teachers are affected psychologically because we are not in connection, we are not connected. Now, you have also listed few online resources where we can give psychological support for the students and teachers. Thank you very much, Father. I would like to add one more tool called Edmodo, which is very, very simple. The participants, I would like to quote Edmodo, which is very prevalent in European countries. They use it from kindergarten to higher education. Very simple. You can have your, you can have online questions, and all of us are at lockdown. You can conduct your test, even descriptive part, and even one word in the way of fill-ups, match, and there are varieties of questions can be there. And it is all possible with the help of Edmodo. And one surprising thing is that parents can also be part of Edmodo, where they can see the progress of their students. And please note down, it is Edmodo, EDMODO, as Father suggested. Thank you very much, Father. Now, I would like to listen to Mr. Dr. Arun. Now, Dr. Arun, there are many 500 plus industrial, teaching professionals are connected with the capacity of principals, professors, teachers, research scholars. Now, we would like to know what is the exact strategy now the industry is following now, and what will be the strategy the industries, particularly the IT industries, are planning out to have it after COVID-19, after the lockdown is lifted. And we would like to know, we would like to prepare our students, we would like to enlighten our students accordingly with the expectation, if we come to know the expectation of the industrial standard post-COVID. I think you could get it clearly. Now, what is the practices before COVID? and what is the expected practices and what is the standards of industry expected from academia, so that we can fill the gap between the academia and industry. Could you please throw us a light on this? Over to Ms. Arun.
Thank you very much. That's a two different thing. Earlier, when you teach, you are with the people and then you are teaching in personal. Like even if 100 people, you can address personal to them. Okay. The same way in the industry also, if we have 5 juniors, if we have 10 juniors, we used to work with them very closely. We used to tell them instruction directly in front and we used to correct them very closely. But now this is not the situation. Like this not is going to happen. Take an example of the problem. Any junior, if he stuck up, okay, we senior has to take a responsible. We will go and we will solve it there in the place. Okay. But now after COVID, what's going to happen is there will not be a space, as father mentioned, where everyone together and do a work. Hereafter, most of the time you can hear the word like, contract basis work. Like you work for this particular time for this project, and this is how you are going to get paid. Okay. So in this case, what is the problem is you will be assigned a problem where there is no other will try to help you, because you are becoming a contract employee where you have to solve your problems. So how to overcome this? Very simple. First, we should have a capacity of self-learning. There are hundreds and hundreds of material, as father and everyone is mentioning, that there is a materials, there is a place you can go and learn, there is a place you can evaluate yourself. Okay, you need to come up with your own motivation, where you need to work yourself to solve all your problems. So self-faced learning is a very, very important thing when it comes to industry. Why it is a self-faced learning? Because when you people are coming out from college or university, what we are getting out, maybe they will train a basics of programming, and maybe they can select one particular programming language and they can train the people. But in industry, it is not. Programming itself, we have a C++, Java, .NET, Python, PHP, Perl, Dolphin, Delphi. There is so much things outside. When you come across the industry, you can say 3D means graphics industries, you have a programming industry, you have a database industry, you have an infrastructure industry. In a college, this cannot be covered, all of those things. We are teaching all the basics of the broader category of those industries. Okay. But when it comes reality, if we teach take an example of basics of database programming, he is going to work with a very particular database, like maybe MySQL. So he has to learn a syntax of MySQL, syntax of MySQL programming. So it is completely oriented in a very specific stuff. So first of all, we are expecting from the people who has to have a capacity of learning the new things. When the new things comes, they should feel, okay, I can learn it. It's very easy. Already I have done this, the other language, the same one I can proceed with. That kind of attitude, very important in terms of IT industry, especially in all the industries in general. I will tell you one more case. Take an example of today I am learning .NET. Take an example of .NET 4.6. The next year .NET now 4.7. The next year 4.8 or the 5 will come. Okay. If I haven't learned it, if I haven't upgraded, my junior will come into the industry with the recent framework, then I will be get outdated. So obviously, this kind of learning, you need to keep on learning if you want to be a leader in the industry. That's the one thing. And the second thing, what is the end to end? When you take now everyone, okay, we need to promote the online, education, all those things. But I want to mention few small things, as the education has to be care when they design such stuff. Take an example of gadgets. Like what kind of gadgets they are going to support in terms of your online systems, because the gadgets, it's not equal to everyone. If you are designing a program for a bigger screen, that will not fit into a smaller screen. It will be very difficult. Okay. On top of that, if you have 2 kids or 3 kids in a home, if they are in a college, if they are going to do things, they need some space. Okay, they need some gadgets to be enabled. When it comes under development country, it will be a bit difficult. I will tell you the third one scenario. Even if you have a developed country, I have a gadget. Okay, take an example of in the time of online examination. Okay, it's an examination. As father said, like, if it could vary, like I can write it any point of time, this will be okay. At the same time, these gadgets supposed to be very safe enough in order to not provoke in the security point of view. So there should be a gadgets where has to be come up with an idea with the ISP and virus scanner providers or malware scanners, which has to be foolproof that it is not, catching the other data, which in terms of online examination or course materials, which is one of the very important point. And the other one which I want to,
Mr. Arun, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
See, what do you propose? Self-learning is expected of the students, and we will definitely make the students. We understand, we learn that we should produce the students who can learn themselves. Though we teach little, but there is a vast and enormous things to be learned by the students themselves. So it is we take academicians as academicians, we take it. And with regard to gadgets that you have said that the applications or the software that facilitates teaching and learning should be equipped with more security. And I suppose it is the part of industry to cover up the security issues. And I would like to listen to you now. How do you expect the teachers to make our students, to make our products a little more fitting into the industry and make our students to be more employable? And could you please suggest some ways and means?
Okay, see, if you want to increase your employable rate of the employee, okay, first of all, it's all begin from the attitude, okay, because we clearly know from the industry, the people who is coming from the college background, okay, obviously they need to learn many things when they come into the industry. Take an example of, I will say that if any employee, when I pick up from college, okay, the first 6 months, most of the time will be like he's going to be in the learning period, okay, because it is not about the programming alone. He has to analyze my domain. He has to work on my software. He has to understand my flow of the software, okay. Then he has to think how the flow will happen inside my software in order to produce the in the basic term, like, there is an input and output, there is a process, okay. This they have to come up with them. So the first 6 months we know clearly it is going to be learning phase. So the idea behind is they should have a highly capacity to adapt any situation. They should come up and, they need to try to attempt, like, I'll tell you that I was taking interview for a longer period, okay, in the guys. The first attitude which I want to see from the people is the solving capacity. Just imagine that when we are asking question, they should try to attempt, whether they are solving or not, it's a different story. First, they need to try to attempt the problem in order to solve it and try to propose few solutions. If I ask, okay, you provide this solution, but I am seeing that there is a problem in this solution, then immediately they need to rethink and they need to give me another solution where this could be the possible solution for that scenario. This is a very important attitude, because even sometimes when I am interviewing the people, they are very good. They are reading the interview questions. They are just coming up with, some predefined questions in mind. When you ask the question, they are able to say all the, theoretical background, okay. But when you throw that dynamically, okay, what you have worked, what kind of experience you have, and when you ask the question from the knowledge, the work which they have done, maybe like a small project you have done in your college when you come out. When I ask something, usually the people will be, kind of oscillation. They never try to attempt the problem. This is number one. So first I'll conclude, like, they need to attempt the problem. They need to be highly motivated, and they should be self-paced learning should be inbuilt with them. That's a very key for us.
Thank you, Mr. Arun, for proposing so many ways and means how our students could be fitting into the industry with the employability skills that is expected of industrial standard. Thank you very much, Mr. Arun. And you have also given us that the students should be equipped with self-learning, and all the academicians here will mold our students who could learn by themselves hereafter as the industry expects them to be self-learners. Now, we are coming into the exact business. Now, many queries are coming up in the chat as well. What will be the strategies that to be followed in post-COVID? Post-COVID, that we are coming into the business. Now, dear panelists, I would like to give you how the higher education should be and expected of in India. Now, UGC has given clear guidelines that hereafter, and it is expected 25% of teaching and learning is going to be online in India with regard to all the universities and institutions. Now, when we think of online teaching and learning practices with all the inventions of software where we could reach out the students, but there are also some challenges to be fixed up. I think Dr. John D Britto is also here, who is with much expertise with administrative expertise from the government of Tamil Nadu, working with different universities. Now, the higher education should be redesigned. It should be flexible when online education is adapted. Of course, it should be flexible, and we need to have more innovative practices. And we should also be more collaborative. We request the participants to please mute your mic. We request the participants to mute your mic. Thank you. Now, as I told you earlier, we should be more collaborative with other institutions. For example, we should be collaborated with the industries. We should be able to collaborate with the Gregorian University. We should be able to get in touch with any university. And the education should become global. Only then a boy in the village, in one of the corner of the villages in India, should be able to access global education. But still, if that is the case, do we have enough infrastructure all over the world? If all the countries of the world, particularly in India, are we equipped with technology? Though India, all of us, many of us are engaged in online teaching practices. Do all our students are engaged? Do all our students are connected? Do we have the facility of network? We have so many problems and issues with network. And I think Mr. Arun from industry and others from industry should be able to patch the gap between the technological reach out to the remote. And only then it will be feasible to become for the education to become global. And as Dr. John D Britto said, the education methodology that is adopted in Italy may not be fitting into India, but still we can collaborate. We can take out few methodologies which are very, very much useful for countries like India, and of course for other countries, which is very much fitting to the countries based on the appropriate ways and means. It is very much important that we should have infrastructural changes, and it should be, and other things. I think Dr. John D Britto and the father could answer. It should be of more inclusive. When we think of modern education, some people from remote areas should not be left out. It should include everyone in the world. The opportunity of right to education should be all. And we should also be able to integrate the curriculum. Not only we should always project the premier institutions like IIT, NIT. If some institutions in one of the corners of the villages, if they are coming out with beautiful, innovative ideas, why not we integrate the curriculum adopted by a particular university? And there is also another problem. When we think of online education, how do the children, as Mr. Arun said, our students should be equipped skillfully. How do you equip themselves with skills if there are no practical centers? And there needs to be, establishment of labs, skill centers, where our students who take up online courses should also have the flexibility of entering into the skill centers where they can equip themselves practically. And the faculty involvement should also be there. Dr. John D Britto should throw a light on this. And will all the faculty members all over the world, will they be able to fit into the global education scenario that we are talking about? And as I told you earlier, the penetration of ICT to the remote area is very, very important. Now, over to the panelists. Now, could you please elaborately tell us what would be the methodology for post-COVID? We should be innovative, we should be flexible, but at the same time, we should also have inclusive education where everyone in the world should be accessible for that particular education or the technology that is adapted. Not only for the rich, for all the people, it should be inclusive within quotes, I say. Over to the panelists. Over to Father Paul Raj.
Vimal, you have rightly said it should be inclusive. Nobody should be left aside. Nobody should be left aside. All should be incorporated into the system. And so I would strongly agree with you that there should be everybody, and the new method of teaching should be coming into together with the old method of teaching for centuries we have adopted. That is not something we have to throw it aside. Together with the old, we have to add the new and then make, as Dr. John D Britto said, a blended pedagogy we have to bring into. That is the first point. And the second point would be about our infrastructures. Unless and until we have a strong, reliable network infrastructure, ICT will not work. And so the government with the university, UGC, everybody should be joining hands together, make it a reliable network infrastructure. Otherwise, it will be a total failure. 25% will reach out to the cities, the rich and the middle class, but not the poor and the villages. And so I would recommend that the UGC should come up with a strong proposal to the government of India saying that if we are going for 25%, then it should be a reliable network service. And with all our privatization, I doubt very much how far this reliable network for the universities and colleges would be possible. The second one would be using useful tools for the students and the teachers. That is very important. Not getting into any type of tool, but useful tools for the teachers and the students should be very important. These are the things I just to throw, then I can come in for others.
I will come back to you, Father. Thank you very much for the proposal and recommendation. Over to Dr. John D Britto. Could you please elaborately tell us what are the policies of the government with regard to online teaching? You have the very many years of expertise with the government of Tamil Nadu as well as with UGC. Over to Dr. John D Britto.
Thank you, Dr. Vimal. You have touched upon various aspects and various problems related to introduction of ICT in higher education. And I totally agree with you with regard to inclusiveness in higher education. I also agree with the father. As you know, in our Indian education system, there are different kinds of education institutions. Starting from institutions of excellence and universities, aided universities by the government of India and government of Tamil Nadu. There are autonomous colleges and there are affiliated colleges. Higher institutions of excellence, universities, deemed universities will anyhow survive, will adopt all these methodologies easily. The problem will come only to affiliated colleges, especially the colleges situated in rural areas. So three things are very important when we introduce at least 25% or whatever may be the percentage. When we introduce these online courses to the affiliated colleges, there will be problems. Three things government has to do. One thing, freedom should be given to the colleges. Then proper funding should be given to the colleges to develop infrastructure facilities for ICT. Like DST has been giving FIST grant, Fund for Instrumentation for Science and Technology. It is a very useful grant whereby many institutions developed equipments in the science and technology laboratories. Similarly, now the government has to fund exclusively for establishing equipments, instruments for ICT in affiliated colleges. Thirdly, third important point is all these online courses, NPTEL, Swayam, Coursera, MOOCs, whatever it may be, they should have free access to the students of these affiliated colleges. Only then the affiliated colleges, students, faculty members, especially the colleges, institutions situated in rural areas will be able to come into the main line. Otherwise, deemed universities, autonomous colleges, universities of excellence will be on one side and affiliated colleges will be on the other side. So these three things, I think it is very important. One is freedom to be given to affiliated colleges. Number two, funding should be done. Third one, this NPTEL, SWAYAM, on all kinds of online courses should be easily accessible to affiliated colleges especially. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John D Britto, for having told us there is going to be a long gap if the autonomous colleges are not properly supported, particularly with freedom and funding and free access to online resources. Thank you. I suppose the government of India will definitely will support the autonomous colleges and particularly the colleges and institutions which are in rural area. Now I'm coming to Mr. Arun. Mr. Arun, could you please tell us now how could the IT industry can come with your ideas or projects to fill the gap, particularly with the infrastructure changes it could be taken to remote areas. And one question came into the chat. Now, in the rough terrains like mountains and in the areas where there is no power, how do you think of education? How do you think of ICT? How do you think of online teaching and learning practices? How could you, from industry, representing industries, how could you patch this gap from connecting different parts of the
Very
world?
tricky question because the ITC is based on the power and the internet and the gadgets. Okay, if you remove these three pillars, and then there is no such thing called ICT. So first of all, I need to think of very large way, like how to fill. Without this, there is ICT impossible. See, there are things has been initiated from Africa. Okay, where harvesting natural resources in terms of enlightening the power. Okay, and there are point-to-point Wi-Fi. Is it possible even in terrain? Even I can go one more thing beyond, like, because we need to enlighten the people. Take an example of, we have our own satellites, okay, which has been launched by us, that can be used for the educational purpose. Take an example of that will work even you are in the terrain or you are in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean, everywhere it will work. Okay, so there could be a hub you can place which is only for educational purpose. So that could be a specific bandwidth can be allocated, where in that area they can cover up and they can use it. So power from the natural resources, internet from the direct to satellite. The other one, gadget. See, gadget, when it comes, we are saying that there is a possibility like this will be covered or not covered. Everyone, they have a gadgets. It's all like assumptions. First of all, we need to go for a quantitative approach. How much percentage of the people in that region, they have a particular gadget in order to access a portal or the specific classrooms. Okay, so first of all, there should be a proper definition should be given from the higher authorities, saying that okay, university, now they need to come up with an idea. Okay, yes, you can use these tools which is adapted, because if they say that openly, like you can use any tool, the people who is selecting the tool, okay, they might not aware of what are all the gadgets it will support, how it will behave when the different gadget comes in place. There are so many analogy has to be done before selecting any tools. Okay, so these kind of instruction has to be given by higher authorities. They need to properly study the bandwidth, the gadget, the people mindset, everything, and they need to propose a solution that which softwares they can use in their environment. Okay, on top of that, as I said, quantitatively, if it is a very major category of the people, or if even a many minor category of the people that doesn't access the gadget, as Sir said, using the grant commissions, they need to enrich, they need to provide that, okay, to those people. So I think the power and internet gadget is covered, then I think everyone can enroll in those things.
Nicely answered, Mr. Arun. I'm happy that you have globally covered and what could be the solutions for patching up the technological gap, reaching out all the people who are at remote. And I hope in the industries, some of the IT industries have adapted few institutions where they can through their CSR, they have reached out to few institutions to give infrastructural facilities. I hope if industries nearby the villages or in the cities nearby, where they can reach out to some of the institutions where which are located in remote areas, could be provided with the ICT facilities and the relevant tools for teaching and learning practices. Thank you, Mr. Arun. Now, with the final round, we are moving on for the final round, that what could be the innovative the ideas where we will have where we can fill the challenges, or where we can fill the gap that is expected from the education field, and it should be a transformation of higher education system. Yes, certainly, post COVID is going to be a big transformation in higher education system, where it could be positive or it could also create negative impact. Now, we should also have universities and institutions should have transformation with regard to infrastructure, curriculum design, and the modus of operandi in various practices of education, teaching, learning practices. And we should also have technological transformation. So keeping these three things in mind, I would like to listen to Dr. John D Britto. Could you please tell us what are the changes that the universities, institutions should transform themselves post-COVID, keeping in the mind of the need for online education or global education? I'm coming back to Father.
Yes, once again, it's a very relevant aspects to be discussed here in this forum. Again, certainly there is going to be a tremendous transformation in all the education institutions in our country, not only in our country, throughout the world. Transformation, first of all, in terms of curriculum development. Curriculum development. At least 50% of the courses will become it's going to be like that. For example, in our university, we are trying to modify and change the curriculum. So only 50% of the subjects will be taught in the classrooms. The rest 50% students have to learn by themselves using the ICT.
3.5 மணி நேரம் ஆக போகுது, எல்லாரும் இரிட்டேட் ஆயிட்டாங்க, போனே டெட் ஆக போகுது,
ICT
ஃபீட்பேக் ஃபார்ம் அனுப்புங்க.
Second, there is going to be transformation with regard to infrastructure development. As Dr. Arun said, it is very important that every institution has infrastructure facilities to introduce ICT. For example, Tamil Nadu government is pioneering in giving free laptops to school children. Now it is the time for the government to give free smartphones or iPads to all the students of higher education institutions to promote ICT. So there should be a transformation in technology. So curriculum and this technology. And of course, once you transform the curriculum, certainly there will be transformation in teaching as well as in evaluation. So evaluation is going to face a lot of changes. So far, we have been doing only pen and paper test, but it is going to be online. Quizzes, assignments, projects, virtual lab, even they say laboratory experiments could be conducted virtually. So all these things are going to happen in the future, in the near future. So faculty members, administrators, educationists and students should be ready for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John D Britto, for proposing the idea of giving free smartphones and gadgets so that everyone could access the online education. And there should also be transformation with regard to curriculum design and teaching, particularly with the evaluation process. And I suppose the industries will come out with a lot of tools for that. And now we are at the final, we are at the end, we are at the climax. Now for the participants, the feedback form is shared. Now we are winding up in 10 minutes. We will listen to the panelists in the final round. With that, it will be over. Kindly bear with us. Since panelists and the resource persons are from abroad, sharing their expertise, we have taken a bit long time. We apologize. We understand that you are connected for very longer time. Since we are at home, we take you for granted that we could listen, and we should not miss the expertise of the speakers with international expertise. Now, I'm coming back to Father. Father, when we think about transformation of education, it should be a global education, and we should have the curriculum design uh, globally, collaboration globally, and skill development in the global perspective, and faculty involvement, exchange programs. With these perspective, redesigning of higher education after COVID-19 with the rich expertise which you have with global education, why don't you share us, why don't you throw us some light on these aspects so that we have a transformation or redesigning of higher education with all these perspectives of what do you see on the screen? Over to you, Father.
Yeah, it's a very, very good question, relevant question, Vimal. There should be a transformation in the higher education. There is no doubt about it. I bring in a very famous quote of Karl Marx, who says in his La Capita, the Capital says, think globally, act locally. This is one of the mottos we should have, the universities, the higher education in India. We should make our education system to think globally, but we have to act locally. And so I see a tremendous amount of tension in this area. There should be a drastic curriculum change. There should be, we should provide the best possible infrastructure, and also we should guide the professors and the students to get into this online mode of thinking, online mode of feeling, online mode of working. That is another important thing. And the third thing should be, we should give provide effective methods of teaching and learning. That is another thing. Fourth element, very important thing, we should also provide instant support services between the university and with the technology industry and other aspects. The transformation of university should make a transformation in other sectors also. And finally, I would say we should create a kind of partnership between government, universities, and the other enterprises. That is very important. Otherwise, the university will move at a velocity of, say, light, whereas the other sectors will not come in line with that, making the university out of reach line. With saying that, I would say ICT should be moderately handled with human concern. India is a populous country. It is not like Europe. It is not like United States. India is a populous country. Bringing in these type of things, we should not lose sight of the human power that we are cherishing. Years. This type of ICT would eat up millions of workforce. And so I would be very cautious that we should make a right bridge between ICT with the traditional teaching methods that we are having. And so the transformation should be formed with the roots heavily rooted and the wings flowing high above the heaven. That is the thing I would say. Thanks.
That was really wonderful, Father, that, when we think of online teaching, we will lose so many human resources with rich expertise for teaching. Some may be with rich expertise, but they may not be equipped with technology. If we adopt to online education, we may lose them. So we always believe that conventional teaching can never be replaced, but still there should be a patch up of, there should be a bridge between this conventional teaching and ICT technology for the higher education transformation. Particularly, I would like to reiterate the point that we should have partnership and instant support by the IT industry. If something goes wrong, immediately it should be solved. If some problem occurs in one part of the country, it should be immediately solved. And we should have a group of academicians, industrialists, and the government. All stakeholders should come in together to transform higher education so that it should be accessible to all, without losing the human force, without losing the human expertise. Once again, I would like to emphasize that the conventional teaching and learning practices will never be replaced, but still it should have a added flavor with ICT. Only then the education could be global. Only then we will be able to collaborate with other system like you people, Indians. We can collaborate with Europeans. Europeans could collaborate with Commonwealth countries, and North Indians could collaborate with South Indians. So it happens. As father said, how far the industries will support and how far do you complement with all these factors that I've given you, particularly fixing up skill centers. Why don't you come out with labs where our students, our learners could have access to the industries so that they could skillfully get, they can get their online education. They should be supported with the skill centers established by the industries. Over to you, Mr. Arun.
Okay, see, I want to add a very final point, because most of the time when we are getting out, when we are producing student to work, okay, instead they need to try to make products, okay, like they need to come up with an idea, a service oriented digital products or any product ideas. They should whenever when we are producing, we are thinking, okay, they will go and they will join in a company and they need to go along with that, okay, but we need to tweak that idea into their core, saying that everyone, there is an entrepreneur inside to them, okay, they need to think a lot when they come out. Then only when either they are creating their own product or when they are going to work on their other products, they have really a full insight in order to work with that, okay. So I strongly recommend we need to produce entrepreneurs, okay, and everyone to be collaborate with the small or medium business when they study, and they know exactly like either they how to bring a new product into the society. We India, we have a very good mindset, but we have very less product in the industry, especially in the IT industry. We need to grow in that aspect a lot so that in the future will be on our hand.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. I would like to ask one more question. You were sharing at the beginning, you were talking about privacy and security. When teaching and learning is going to be online, there's going to be a threat of privacy and security. Could you please give us some ways and means where we can come over with the issues of privacy and security?
Okay, see, this is one of the major threat in the industry, especially when it comes a student. It is really very weakened actually, okay, because there is no big firewall, there is no big routers behind. There is we cannot afford big virus scanners, we cannot afford big malware scanners, okay. If we take an example of nowadays app itself stealing your data. If you are installing any malicious app, you don't actually, you feel that it is a very legitimate app, the app itself can steal all your data. So what we supposed to, that's what I was started to mention, that we supposed to, the university altogether has to supposed to clearly authenticate these are all the app, you can use it in your gadgets, okay. That's number one. Number two, the gadget can be self-locked. It should no need to use in other purpose. Take an example of a gadget has been provided by government, or there is a particular gadget which is really less in cheap because it's educational purpose. We can create a new gadgets which can be shielded, which can be used for educational purpose, and any internet coming into that gadget can be filtered by ISP. Any malicious or any virus which has been done, which could be directly tie up with the virus scanner providers as well as malicious providers. They can block everything on the cloud, because now everything in the cloud, which is dynamic in bandwidth, okay, which can be controlled anywhere in the part of the world. So the university, government, the ICT, the gadget providers and internet providers, cloud infrastructure providers, all together has to articulate a forum, okay, in order to provide a better and secure education to all of the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. And I suppose we are all at the end of the panel discussion now. It was a very fruitful discussion. We had expertise from industry, we had expertise from father of global education, we had expertise from government policies from Dr. John D Britto. We come to know that to conclude the discussion, we as academicians, we should produce our students self-learning. They should be capable of learning themselves with adapting themselves for online teaching, capable of learning on their own, and they should be friendly to the gadgets, and the gadgets are supposed to be produced friendly to the students. And there are three suggestions for the government, that the autonomous proper autonomous to be given to the institutions, particularly at the rural areas, and the proper funding, also the free access for all the online repositories or resources from universities and the government portals. We should also have smartphones given to the students, and we should have the curriculum should be redesigned. And as father said, we should also always keep that in mind, that the human resource should never be lost just because of the invention or introduction of ICT. So without losing the human expertise, we should think of adding flavor to the conventional teaching with the help of ICT, particularly with the help of instant support and partnership from the industry. I suppose it was a fruitful discussion for all the participants, and you have many queries raised. Now, if the panelists permit, we will go for questioning. Over to you, the participants. You can raise your hands. We will unmute you. You can ask for queries, or Dr. Sherina, if you are ready, you can come out with queries in specific to the panelists and the resource persons, right from Dr. John D Britto, Dr. Rex Arakasamy, Dr. Paulraj Michael, and Mr. Arun are there to answer you. Over to Professor Sherin. Professor Sherin, are you there? Could you please take up the question and answer session?
There is a question.
Please go ahead.
All students may not be tech savvy. What teaching learning methods can be devised for such students? Asked by Dr. Pushpa Michael. She hasn't mentioned to panelists in particular.
See, nowadays devices are very independent. Like, the devices are not molded with any particular, software only can be installed. Okay. I think a normal Android device is more than enough for any such kind of materials which you can access. Okay. This is the so far things in the industry. Either if you want a more visible picture, I can say it's a 2 foot and 10 foot experience. If you want to be a bit away, then you should have a bigger screens, or if you want to very close, then you can have a normal like a 10-inch or 7-inch screens. Even nowadays the mobiles are coming with a 7-inch screen. That's more than enough for the people to use it. But I recommend in general, if they have a laptop, it's more good compared to small mobile phones.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And this question is directed to Professor Arun. Can you please elaborate about the service you talked about regarding receiving messages in the mobile phone, where unless the user inputs his or her response, the message will not go in?
It's basically emergency alert services. Okay, see, there are services which has been inbuilt in your Android or iOS devices, where only the emergency alert can be sent. This cannot be sent by everyone. Only that authenticated services can send such alerts. Okay, if you have an experience of integrating Google messaging services, you might get to know more into that. In general, I don't think so this will be visible to all of us. Okay, we can able to send message, or we can able to send WhatsApp, we can able to integrate Facebook messages. Even WhatsApp, it is not open to all. It is very particular to bigger industries. Okay, getting a WhatsApp service API, it's really costly also. Okay, but these kind of strongly secured systems which can be used by authenticated government organizations, okay, which can be directly alerted to that. You can check like in the online, emergency alert services in the Android, you get it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. A question by Dr. Bhuvaneshwari. Could you please tell us some of the open source digital tools for video and audio recording and content preparation?
Do you have any suggestion?
Yeah.
Open source.
Could you please come out with?
Yeah. There are so many tools in video audio presentation. For example, if you get into the normal Google search itself, you will get quite a lot on education video audio contents. If you want to make yourself video audio contents, then you get into the www.classroom.com. You will get lots of how to make video audio. Adobe is another website a tool through which you can make video, audio presentations. There are so many. I can send the whole list to Sister Principal, and then she will send it to all the participants.
I want to add on with what Father said. Like, take an example of the tool like Blender. Okay, it is an open source tool where you have a complete end to end. For example, you want to create a very simple video editing, you can do. You want to create some 2D animation, and still you can do. If you want to go for, if you have a bigger people in your organization like a university, you can make a 3D videos and masking. Still you can do with the Blender. So when you're selecting, like as I want to point out, like there are a lot of open source tools as Father advised. It's available and online. Blender is one of those very good tool which is very free of cost, and it has a functionality from simple animation to video editing. Okay, that's a one thing. And the number two, there are a lot of like animation, like you can use the Flash, which is again still is an animation which will be very easy. Even you can use animation for PowerPoint, which is very powerful actually for small things, which is really handy, because when you go for a video editing, it has a lot of rendering time. You have a lot of, you need supposed to have a lot of memory. You're supposed to have a lot of computation power. But when it comes to small animation like PowerPoint, nothing is required. You just go and type and then drag and drop your animation and done. Okay, so it is up to you. Like you need to choose based on the resource availability in terms of the persons, in terms of the hardware resources you have. There are plenty of choices. Okay, it's up to you that which one you are picking it up.
And added to that, Vimal, for e-books, there are so many e-book website, but the easy way of getting e-books for our research scholars, www.booksc.com. Millions of books you can get it on research areas of different kinds, and also www.booksc.com. booksc.com. That is the thing. And then about research scholars, those who are doing doctorate together with your teaching, you can get into ResearchGate. Another website where you get enormous amount of topics on which people have done researches.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Mr. Arun. There is one.
Please kindly, Dr. Rex, would you like to add anything? Dr. Rex, on your part, would you like to add anything? Dr. Rex, would you like to add anything? I think that Dr. Rex is not connected. I'm sorry. Now, participants, I would like to add one more thing. The PowerPoint is very much handy. See, all of us use PowerPoint. There is one option you can go for in slideshow. You have narration. You can record your voice. Please go to slideshow. You have an option called narration. And from 2010, version 2010 onwards, go to file. From there, you have an option called save and send or export to video. So you can create your PowerPoint as video, which could be.
Yeah. Not able to get Vimal. Arun, are you able to get?
No. I think Vimal is from the remote area and he's disconnected. ICT is not working well with him. Vimal?
No.
Yep. Sister, you just go ahead with other questions.
Other questions?
A question from Dr. Tamil Selvi. How can I use ICT in legal field?
It's a very good question. Even some of them asked in between also. Father, can I start?
Yeah, please.
Okay. See, whatever the software which you are using, okay, take an example of, there is only two things. Either it is the premium, which is, you paid the cost and then you are using it, or it is an open source tag. And I'll tell you, the open source tag is something you can use for any purpose. No one will ask you any question on it. That's the number one. You can use for the personal purpose. You can use for educational purpose. You can use for the commercial purpose. There is no question on it. In the other way, like you take Microsoft Office, okay? Even I can say that Google, okay? Google, there is a certain limit. They are always allowing free for personal as well as education also. So first we should know that, what is the terms we can use it into our day-to-day life. Okay. If it is go beyond that only, we need to pay into the place. In general, when it for the legal, any open source is always legal to use. Anything which is under educational, most of our bigger brand, like either you for a Google or you for a Microsoft, it is free for a particular benchmark. If you want to go more professional tools, which has been all the features you want to include, then you need to pay a little amount. Okay, please, Father, just add.
Yeah, you whatever you said, that's what the point is. Only for the premium you have to pay, but for other things we can always get in the normal way. To the maximum we can use it. When we go beyond maximum, they also would say now that you are beyond limit, and so we can stop. Thanks.
Another question directed to Dr. John D Britto. Can an artificial intelligence like robo be introduced to help education system?
Sir is not here.
Okay. Okay, we will continue further till the time when they are joining, either Vimal also. See, obviously, yes, artificial intelligence can come up, okay, but it cannot replace the teachers. That everyone, because that is the fear of everyone. We have that, artificial intelligence or robots comes in place, all these kind of things will be vanished. It cannot be done, even though you can have a virtual place. Like, so we are right now in the virtual place. You can see the background. You don't know where I am sitting. It's a virtual place, okay. Even tomorrow, me can be replaced by a surrogate. Either it could be a virtual image which is rendered by the video, or there could be a robot which could be imitate like who I am. But where is the problem comes in place? I'll tell you, there is a two thing. When you are teaching with the kids, you need to understand their hearts. It is really difficult for a machine to understand hearts of the people. So there is a lot of customization. They're completely replacing with everything by the machine. It's not possible. And take an example of the other way. When we have been grown adult as a, the people who already shaped in, where our idea is so dynamic, which will always overcome the robots. Okay. You can see the last chat between the Elon Musk and John Ma. Okay, where there are two giants in the industry. They are discussing about whether the human means machine can completely overcome the human. Obviously, one is talking that it is completely will replace, other one saying that it cannot be replaced. So the ultimate tag with this line, it is actually inconclusive. There will be a people will argue always that it can be replaced. There will be a people will always argue that it cannot be done. But in my personal opinion, I just want to add one thing. There are a lot of mathematical equation will say that it's possible, but to achieve that, you need an infinitive amount of energy, like black hole, time travel. It's all possible, but they will claim in such a way that you need an infinitive amount of energy. Where you can find that? There are certain things it is exist, but achieving, I don't think so it is possible.
The artificial intelligence can top even human beings in terms of our intelligence. But when it comes to our feelings and emotions on the affective level, artificial intelligence will have a long way to go, and it will never reach the level of human beings. That is, human beings are far advanced in terms of text and context, in terms of persons to persons, and so artificial intelligence will not support the presence of a teacher in the classroom, dialoguing with, helping the ICT, providing chances to transform the education system, a better system, but in and through the human medium. I use the word in and through the human medium is the best.
Yeah, as Father said, the artificial intelligence can be trained in a particular industry. Okay, it can have a professional in a particular line of work, but not like dynamic like humans. Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. It was a very good answer, because only the teachers have the emotional connection with the students. ICT in the hands of a good teacher will do wonders.
That's right.
Another question from Ms. Daisy Mole Matthew. When we speak so much of ICT, do we think of the less privileged members of our country?
Yeah, very much. We shared in the last part of the session. We shared enough and more that no, we should not. Everything should be inclusive. Not a single soul should be left aside. And so the poor should be taken care of as that of the middle class and the rich in the society. When we provide the ICT, it has to be reached to the least in the society. There is no second thought on this.
Thank you, Father. Mr. Ramachandran asks, even today, one student committed suicide over fear of online examinations. She didn't have mobile. How to overcome this fear?
This happened yesterday in Kerala when girl student committed suicide because of the not having the facility to enter into the online. This is the plight of India. This is the plight of India. We should understand our situation, and so we should not overemphasize on a particular element. Yes. Yeah, I give it to Arun.
As father said, because this is something like they are telling one case, because there are so many cases. You can see the people for some small reasons they are committing suicides, which is not even accepted for any of the cases. As it is not acceptable for any of the cases, this is also not acceptable. If you are losing an exam, next exam you can write and get passed. If you are not studying this industry, you can be signed in the other industry. If you are not going for aeronautical, you can become software engineer. There is no problem at all. It is not about I need to stick with this. If I didn't get, I will commit suicide. It will not accept it in any cases.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There are other two questions. Most of them are related to already discussed questions only.
So thanks a lot. Alphonse Rosalind.
Yeah.
Alphonse Rosalind, please come online, and then you can, because already time is running short.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please, Alphonse.
Is coming.
Yes. Yes, Professor.
Thank you, participants, for your valuable questions. We'll now move on to the next. Thank you very much, our esteemed panelists, for this lively, enigmatic, and informative session. Once again, thank you all.
Yes, Sister Principal.
May I invite our professor to render the vote of thanks.
Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. I consider it a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and participants who have witnessed it as a memorable and successful event. First and foremost, I would like to thank our God Almighty for His blessings upon us and for help us making the occasion a resounding success. Speech has power. Words do not fade. What start out as a sound ends in a deed. I would like to extend a special amount of thanks to our respected delegates who blessed us with their presence for their enigmatic speech and took valuable time out of their tight schedule. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. John D Britto, former Registrar, MS University, Tirunelveli, for spending his valuable time for the international webinar. The session was so vibrant and extremely about higher education. Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking address. Next, I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Mr. Rex Arokesami, Solution Architect, Atlanta, Georgia, US. Your enthusiastic speech, where you excellently spoke about many things about nature, education in different countries, was so much inspiring. Thank you, sir, for making this seminar interesting and meaningful. Next, I would like to thank the most lively and interactive session of the day, that is the panel discussion. It wouldn't be successful without the panelists. I would like to thank Reverend Dr. Palraj Michael S.J., Gregorian University, Rome, for your excellent points on higher education and ICT. Thank you very much, Father. Your words feel us elated and motivated and made us to learn new methods, tools, and techniques of ICT. We were so much inspired throughout the session. Thank you, Father. Next, I owe my sincere thanks to Dr. Arun Yanraj, Solution Architect, Dubai, for inspiring us throughout the discussion. We came to know about more information about technology and the needs of IT sector. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. I would like to thank Professor Vimal Jarol, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, St. Joseph's College, Trichy, for sharing your immense knowledge on ICT and higher education. A good teacher is the one who shares his knowledge to others. I think you proved it, sir. Thank you. The most important part of this webinar is you, the participants. Without you, this webinar wouldn't be possible. I would like to thank all the participants who have gathered here from many parts of the world for spending your valuable time in the webinar. I thank all educators, students who were in the part of the webinar. I hope you would have benefited and gained an ample amount of knowledge from the webinar. This pandemic, COVID-19, is not a barrier in educating the students. I once again thank you, each one of you, for taking part in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your gratefulness. May I invite our Principal Organizing Chair, Reverend Dr. Sister Alphonse Roslin, to close up this webinar.
Esteemed resource persons and dear participants from various countries and India, we feel very grateful at the end of this session. Gratitude is the sign of noble hearts. It is the memory of heart. Yes, dear resource persons, we are touched by your inspiring session and your sharing. Also, dear participants, we Servite family members feel very grateful for your active participation and cooperation. Thank you very much for every one of you. This is not the end. Our journey continues. We hope we'll meet you again in many more meetings. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you for every one of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks
a
a
lot.
lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Wish you all the best. Bye bye.
With the permission of sister, on behalf of the speakers,
I think ICT works now.
Speakers, on behalf of the speakers, we would like to congratulate the organizing team under the leadership of Dr. Alphonse Roslin, who has done a wonderful job. We shall, the participants, we shall give them a big round of applause. It is not a simple task conducting the international webinar in an international standard. Thank you very much, sister. Congratulations to all of you under the leadership of Sister Principal, Sister Princia Mary, and all the other sisters of the convent, starting from Sister Xavier, the secretary, and the other sisters of the convent, and the professors, particularly professors of Servite College, who has worked day and night for making it successful. All the professors, particularly the coordinators, Professor Tangabandian, Professor Arulwani, and all the other professors who have toiled a lot for making this a grand success. It was really successful, sister. Thank you. And we should also appreciate the participants who stayed till longer time. It has been nearly 4 hours and they stayed out of all technical difficulties. Thanks for staying with us, and the link for feedback is shared here. You can fill up, and if you have any difficulty, you can contact in the chat room or in the WhatsApp group. Your certificates will be sent to you today itself. If you have any difficulty, you can get back to the organizing team. And it was a very nice time that we had international speakers from Father Paul Raj Michael with the great expertise of global education. Thank you, Father. It was very interesting join with you. And Dr. Arun Raj, your expertise was well appreciated by the participants from the industry, from Dubai, and Mr. Dr. Rex Arakasamy, who joined very early in the morning. Thank you, Dr. Rex. And of course, Dr. John D Britto is acknowledged with gratefulness for joining us with this busy schedule. Thank you all. If you have any difficulties with feedback form or any other queries, you can contact Sister Roslyn or Sister Princia Mary, all one of the coordinators. Thank you all. We call it a day. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I think, Sister Principal, you could open your mic. Open your mic and speak. Could you please? Sister, your mic is not open. Sister, your mic is closed. Yeah.
My sincere gratitude to our Professor Vimal Charan. He has been a good friend of our Servite College right from the beginning of our college. Thank you, dear Gerald. So you have done the wonderful work to make this international seminar a successful one. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Once again, I thank you.
It's my pleasure, sister. And the college, Servite College, has planned for a few more programs, FDPs national level, and other few more seminars underway. You can join the participants. You are welcome to join for the relevant session. Thank you. Over to Sister Princia for winding up the session. Sister Princia, are you there? Yeah, thank you very much. We shall call it a day. If you have any clarification or queries, please come into chat, and we are ready to help you. You can come in to chat for the participation certificate. Could you please share the link again, sister? Could you please share the link again?
Yes,
Participants,
sir,
you may
yes,
leave.
sir.
Thank you very much. You may leave. We are connected. If you have any problem, we are connected here. And we request the Servite professors, please stay back. We shall have a group photo at the end. Thank you. Please come into videos. Sister, could you please send some of them are asking for feedback link again. Could you please send them again?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, dear participants.
Thank you very much, dear participants. Thank you very much. Thanks for staying connected for a very long time. Thank you. It was a great experience. Sister, could you please send them the link again?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Continuously send them the link, sister.
Okay,
until
sir.
they get it. Yeah.
Okay.
We inform the August participants that the link will work within 1 hour. Kindly fill it up within time. Thank you very much. For the kind attention of the participants, the link is being shared. The link is being shared. You can please take it. Please fill it up by today itself.